Welcome back to the party, everybody. I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. How is everybody doing tonight? Big shout out to the replay gang. Thank you so much for coming back to hang out, even though you missed the live party. That is the best part. But don't worry, you are still going to enjoy this very, very much. Just make sure you are here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whatever I feel like it. So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and you will never miss another Indian Jesus live party ever again. Really quick, I just want to give a thank you to the sponsor of the stream, my6shirt.com. Looks like we got a new design here, but whatever your persuasion, they've got something for you. And of course, it is the only place to get your very own The Indian Jesus official merch. Only at my6shirt.com. All right. So I know. A lot of you guys are Christians and believers of all sorts, and you guys know that I am an atheist, but and that's why I try not to harp on this too much, because really what this channel is about is dogmatic thinking, and in my opinion, the worst dogmatic thinking is coming from the political left. But that was not always the case, and just because the political left is gone bonkers does not mean that religion suddenly makes sense. So we definitely are, we have a number of calls here. If you're not familiar with the atheist experience, hey, Divine and Broad is in the building. Of course it's live. It's 8 p.m. on a Friday, bro. What else would I be doing? Welcome. So basically what we want to do here, my whole thing is that in religion, people use words so flippantly and so just differently. I want the question that we continue to keep on our minds as we listen. Does this caller's beliefs reflect your own if you're a believer? So actually the first call is actually from an atheist. I figured we'd start out there on common ground, and we'll go from there. Let's do it. As always, if you cannot hear the video, please do let me know. You know. Thank you, Vine Rod. Take two. And he didn't say anything important yet, so just jump right back in.
I'm sorry?
Good. You're going to be the last atheist caller for today. We have nothing but theists calls in the queue to get to. But please, you have a serious issue, and I wanted to get to it. So fill us in.
Okay. All right. So short answer, my father is dying. He's a lifelong Catholic, has been for pretty much his whole life, I guess. I left the church when I was about 13. We've never really seen eye to eye on it. And, we coexist. Despite that, the man still was a father to me. And regardless of my religious or irreligious leanings, he always did the best he could for me.
Yeah.
And one thing that's always been
I figured that. Thank you.
Kind of a sticking point is that he worried for me. And I have to ask if it's even remotely ethical at this point for me to just say, you know what, Dad, you're right. I can believe in God for a while. And I obviously don't, but just to let him believe that I do. So until he goes, he doesn't have to worry about me. He doesn't have to go out worrying about me.
So basically, this caller is just saying, if you're not familiar with the show, Atheist Experience is a show where it's these two atheists on screen. You call in, tell them what do you believe and why, and that starts the conversation. It's been going about 17 years, and nobody has been able to convince the atheists. So maybe you guys will be able to convince me. But so this guy is saying that he is an atheist, and his father is on his deathbed, a very religious father, and his father is worried because his son is an atheist. And so is it moral? Is it, what should I just lie to him and tell him, oh, I found Jesus so that he can die happy? Or is that wrong?
Yeah. Sorry.
So I'm also a recovering Catholic. I am not out to my parents. I'm also not hiding from them. If they were on any social media, they would know I'm an atheist. And I'm not going to answer your question directly. I'm going to give you my reasoning behind what I'm doing, and let you draw your own conclusions. But the reason I'm not is because it would destroy my parents, especially my mom. And I don't want to do that to them. I don't want to cause them any more distress than I need to. And in conversations we've had, there's no doubt in my mind that there is a way that I can phrase this or have a conversation with them that would not utterly destroy them. And that is not something I am willing to do. And so I try not to lie to them, but I also am not going to tell them the truth. I'm not going to tell them I'm out and out atheist. I'm not going to tell them I'm a host on the AXP. I'm not going to tell them those things. They can find out if they really want to. Fortunately, they're not on social media. So I'm not exactly hiding either. But for me, it is, do I want to cause them any more emotional distress than I need to? And yes, I'm willing to tell them that lie. I'm willing to go to church with them. I'm willing to do all those things with them because it doesn't cost me anything to make them feel good and to keep them from worrying excessively about me.
So what he's saying is basically just go along to get along. And if it's not something that is, what's more important? What's more important, being right or having your father feel the way he does? And I think that, a lot of people who are believers don't necessarily think that atheists can even think this way. It's like, yeah, we're just people.
So that is kind of my reasoning behind it. To me, there's no ethical question in that, because I'm not gaining or losing anything and I'm helping them. Now, if I thought I could actually have a conversation with them that wouldn't destroy them, I probably would, but I don't know of a way to do it. So that's kind of my answer for it. I don't know, Matt, do you want to?
Yeah, so Vinerot says important to honor your parents, not necessarily love them. They shouldn't need coddling. Tell them to put in a good word for you on the other side. Yeah, and that is, a good way to kind of, especially because it's not something that you believe, but it's something that they believe. Well, all right, like they're not trying to change your life in this, this type of situation. I'm sure when my parents are hopefully not anytime soon at that place of life, if that's something that really is bothering them, I would have no issue lying and just saying that, yes, you know what, I've had a transformation, so you can die happy.
I had a struggle with this when my grandmother was dying, and I'd been asked similar things before, and I said, part of me would like to think that I would, if she was on her deathbed and was asking me, that I would just tell her the comforting lie. And I decided that I couldn't, but what I came up with was, for me in my situation, better. And that is that while we didn't talk about it right before she died, if she had asked, my plan was to let her know that I love her, I'm going to miss her, and as far as I can tell, death is the end, but that I genuinely hope, if there's something more, that I can spend eternity together with her. And all of that is true. I don't think it's going to happen, but all of that is true. That I would I like to spend forever playing cards with my grandmother? Yes. And if that's not enough for somebody, if that's not enough, then I'm not the one doing damage to them. Their religious beliefs that prevent them from having that kind of relationship with me, that's what's doing the harm.
And so think about that in the context of what we often talk about with the political tilt, is that if you can't have dinner with somebody because they voted differently than you, well, that's not really on them. That's on you.
So I don't view myself as the part of that harm, but I'm also I'm not remotely objecting to what Jim has suggested either. We're talking about if death is the end. Well, I don't need to somebody to go out, and take away their religious belief or convince them or lie to them or anything else.
That's not part of what most atheists have on their agenda for their entire life. Maybe some, and myself a little bit more than others in a less direct way. I'm not out here trying to take religion away from people. I want to live a life that shows people that religion isn't necessary, but it's not that serious. Like it's just not something that we think about like that. And so the only time a lot of religious people will be aware that somebody is an atheist is when they're in, similar to like the red pill rage stage, when you figure out that women aren't all sugar and spice and everything nice, and you're like, oh, well, wait, now I'm angry that I was lied to. Same thing happens with atheists when we realize, oh, I thought I had somebody watching over me and my whole life was planned out. And now I no longer believe that that's true. And that angers me. And so that's really the only time that you see it. Ron said, obviously, he's a good guy for being concerned about their well-being emotionally. Exactly. Just a good person. And that is exactly what I want to highlight about, people who are people who are religious, who, aren't trying to push their religion down other people's throats, or people who are atheists and are acting like our caller Alex here.
I just want to focus on the human relationship that we have. You're the only one that can decide what you're okay with. And I would say that what Jim's talking about with the comforting lie is a moral good. And what I'm talking about with finding another way to let that person know that you love them and care and wish that things would be that way is also a moral good. There are many right answers to this, and it's going to change depending on the situation.
So that's, basically the whole thing. I just wanted to start off with, an atheist caller, because I want to, get you guys defenses down. I want us to all be on the same team here. And so let's jump into the next one. And I don't even know what this one is. The title is, I've seen lots of explain things must be something. So this is the God of the gaps argument. How many times are you going to talk to somebody and their justification for why they believe God exists is because of things that they cannot explain?
All right, we got Canyon's been on hold for a long time. Canyon's moving towards agnosticism due to personal experiences. How you doing, Canyon? You're on with Shane and Matt.
All right, so this person moving toward agnosticism. So again, a big theme here, whether it's in religion or politics, is the semantic obfuscation. So agnostic atheism means I don't know and I don't believe. So if she's saying she's moving closer to agnosticism, I don't know what exactly she means by that. So let's find out.
Hey, Matt. Hey, Shane. Longtime fan.
Thanks. What?
Yeah.
How's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're talking to you.
Great. Yeah. So I'm conflicted, and I have been for a really long time, and I've always wanted to call in and discuss it, but I'm on furlough finally, and I finally have a Sunday off and can. So thanks for taking the call. I was raised secular, so I've been atheist basically, most of my life, or all of it really, but there's been through many years, unexplainable things.
Every time I speed it up, she slows down. Every time I slow it down, she speeds back up. So through many years, there's been unexplainable things
that have happened that make me question my atheism and don't know how to kind of balance that out in my brain. Because
so she's saying moving closer to atheism moving closer to agnosticism from atheism. So my apologies, we got another atheist woman here.
Personal experience that have been witnessed by others, and this is kind of where Charles was like, hey, you can't see it with your eyes, or I can't show you the skin. Yeah, you kind of can when things have happened. They've happened in front of others. They've happened and have been witnessed by others, and they can't explain it. I can't explain it. And
right. So a lack of an explanation for something isn't really an argument for a God. It's an argument for a lack of an explanation of something. There have been plenty of things that I've experienced that I don't know the cause of, but you can't make the jump from, okay, I don't know what did that, therefore it was probably a God. And it sounds like that's sort of like where you're going with it.
Exactly. God of the gaps. I don't know, therefore God.
Sort of, Shane, but not really. I'm not throwing God out there as the solution. For all I know, it's aliens fucking with us. It's
could be ghosts, could be anything. But we don't have any.
Okay, so I think Shane here is jumping the gun, and I think our caller Kenyon is agreeing with that, and I do believe that she is accurately using agnosticism, where she was saying, "I'm I don't believe this." And I know that there's no God, but now I'm like, I'm not really sure. Could be this, could be that. I don't have a belief in God, but I don't know.
Reason to think that it is.
I'm sorry?
What I'm saying is, I agree with you. Like, yeah, it could be ghosts, it could be aliens fucking with us, it could be anything, but we don't have any reason to think that it is that. So when something happens and
he's jumping the gun.
You can't explain it, it might.
And so, it's tough because as an atheist, a lot of times you hear the same arguments, but you still have to listen because he's arguing against something that she's not saying.
Get you thinking, and you try to come up with an explanation, and sometimes you can't. But sometimes the only intellectually honest answer is I don't know.
Yeah, this
that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Right. So it sounds like we're on the same boat here. I don't know.
Right. That's why you shouldn't be jumping down her throat, bro. Let her talk and then respond.
Well, here's where I'm going with this.
Okay.
And this is, I think, where my version of agnosticism kind of steps in, is that it is the I don't know, but it's something. And where I'm struggling.
Yeah, that's my problem.
Whoops, I'm sorry, but what?
I don't know how you can say I don't know, but it's something. What do you mean by something?
There you go.
Well, that's what I mean. This is where I'm conflicted. When I'm having these experiences, and I've had them not consistent enough, convenient enough, not consistent enough to go, hey, watch this, but consistent enough for me to go, what the hell? And
she's talking about coincidences.
And there's many of them, and if you want me to explain some, I can, that have been witnessed by many and by others. And I don't know.
You can, I'm open to it, but it does sound like you're still doing what we described earlier, which you kind of agreed with me on, which is you're saying, I don't know, but, and you're saying you're not throwing God out there, but you're saying it's something. And I'm glad that Matt asked you, well, what is something? Because yeah, there can be events that you don't understand, but like for most of my life, I have not been a skeptic. And my sister and I both believe, and my sister still does to this day, that one of the houses we grew up in was haunted. Now, there are plenty of experiences that actually happened in that house. I can't.
Hey, we got Dan Jensen in the building. What is good, Dan? Welcome to the party. We are watching the Atheist Experience and trying to determine those who are religious. Does your religion sound like these people's religion? So if you're not familiar, Atheist Experience, a call-in show that's been on the air for over 15 years. And basic premise is call in. There's two atheists on screen. And you just tell them, what do you believe and why? And that starts the conversation. So welcome to the party. Glad you are here, brother.
And I'll come up with an explanation for, but I don't think that my lack of an understanding for why those things happen suggests that, okay, well, it was something supernatural. It could have been a ghost. Like, it doesn't support that. It just supports that I don't know what it was.
No, that's amazing. Yeah, and you're saying that, Shane. That's exactly what I'm talking about, because one of the things that threw me off completely off the edge was a experience like that we'll call it a ghost. You know, but again, I don't know what it is, but I had an experience that was witnessed. I'm sorry?
Can you describe the experience?
I absolutely can describe the experience, yeah. Me and a friend, we live in Arizona. Not far from us is a ghost town, an old miners town called Bisbee. There's a hotel, lots of hotels there, but very old ones. And they, you know, kind of play up the haunted hotel stuff, you know, and whatever. And so it's 2 hours from us. So we decided, let's go have a fun haunted overnight thing, you know, at this haunted hotel. And they talked about on the website, you know, the ghosts that supposedly live there. And one of them is a little boy that likes to play tricks and things. And they said, bring toys. And he also likes bling, maybe bring some sort of bling, something.
Some bling. So basically we're getting a very typical ghost story, and she wants an explanation. This, I think, comes from people's inability to be comfortable with not knowing. She's right there. She's saying, I don't know what it is, but I know it's something. How do you know that it's something? What is it that is something? It's that one last step that, like, well, it has to have an answer that makes sense to me. Well, maybe it doesn't. How do you know that?
Funny. And, you know,
well, 666 mechanism, I don't like that.
That's always what they say.
Right.
Sorry.
You know, so anyway, we rented a room in this hotel. It was almost vacant. It was me and my friend in one room, and I think another married couple on the same floor, the third floor of this building. And we had the entire hotel really to ourselves. It was almost empty. And around 1:30 in the morning, we're wandering the hall outside of our room, and we just put some items on the floor in the middle of this dark hallway. We couldn't see anything really very well, but they just said, put these things down, see if anything happens, call out to this person and see what happens, and bring a camera. And we did. And we sat in this dark hallway, and we, hey, Billy, come get this. This is for you, kind of stuff. And we started taking pictures as we're talking. Okay. And it's kind of shuddering through. It only took maybe, I don't know, 4 minutes or something, 5 minutes. And then we just kind of picked up the items and went to bed or whatever. The next day at breakfast, we decided to look at the pictures. And one of the items in the picture was hovering off the floor. It was a ring.
Where's the picture?
And we looked at it. There was multiple pictures of this. And we're like, how did that happen?
Where's the picture?
I have it. I mean, the only thing that's a problem with the picture, and this is, you know, people will say, oh, you altered it or you did something. I mean, we have.
It doesn't, this only comes from people who don't know how cameras work. This only comes from people who don't know how cameras work. And I am far from a camera expert. But it has to do similar to how your eyes work, where it brings in light and whatever is reflected appears in the, I mean, obviously everything's digital now, but the like lens flares and things like that. And there's an orb and there's a this and there's a, it's all just, there was the lighting, the aperture, whatever it was. That doesn't mean anything. And something can be weird and unexplained. And that's it. You don't have to say, oh, this is weird and I don't know how to explain it. Therefore, I must determine what it was the cause here. Because again, maybe you could figure that out, but maybe it's something that humanity, it's not available to us yet. So you can spend your entire life trying to figure something out and never figure it out. So why don't you just move on to life? That was weird, but all right.
The pictures, we were like mind boggled. We couldn't figure out how this happened.
I mean, I'm willing to grant that you didn't. Because I don't think you're being dishonest. I think that what you're telling me is something that you actually believe. But the fact that you were in a haunted hotel where people actually go there to experience haunted experiences, like the hotel is selling this idea that ghost experiences happens here. It makes it a little bit plausible to me that someone would be, I don't know, fucking with you a little bit if you're going to stay in a hotel that advertises them doing this.
And it's worse than that, because you're doing an investigation in the dark. And by your own telling of the story, you didn't notice anything there in real time with the items that were there.
Exactly.
It's only in the picture that you look.
And I'm trying to get better at interrupting the, my pausing parts. But yeah, exactly. It's not about what you saw in front of your eyes, which even still could be an optical illusion, as Divine and Rod is talking about here. Optical distortion, the semantic obfuscation of the visual world. There you go. I love this comment. Star in that. And this is going to come up over and over and over again. Exactly.
Looked at the next day that something looks weird.
Well, the reason why, I mean, for one, it was 1 a.m. We picked the items. We placed the items where we chose to pick them. Because trust me, that's the first thing that I ran through my mind. Are there fucking magnets in the walls? Did they, is there somebody with, how in the world? How, and I'm trying to figure it out.
No, the point is when you looked at the ring in person, you didn't see anything. It's only in the picture that you see something.
No, I couldn't see it. It was dark. We couldn't see anything. It was like an almost not black.
And I mean, this is probably going to go around in circles, so we can move on to the next one. But the point, again, is that people have such a desire to know things. There's such a discomfort with not being able to determine that this is something that maybe I'm not going to figure out. This is not something that is readily available to me. And so people will just plug in God because that is more comfortable than saying, there's things out there that we just don't know about. All right, so this one's called God Doesn't Send You to Hell, You Choose to Go There. Oh, one of my favorite lines. Well, you choose to deny God. Actually, I chose to accept God, and to be completely accurate, God rejected me. So let's see what this person has to say and see if it's on that same topic. But yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna start here with Rick in Oregon. You're on with Don and Matt, and it says, I think your religion is bad because God sends me to hell, but it's my choice and not God's, right?
Yes. How are you doing?
So which religion and which God are we talking about, just for clarity?
Christian.
Okay, a particular denomination, or are we just going to go generic?
Non-denominational.
Sure. So I'm not mad at your religion because a God sends me to hell. Mm-hmm. I don't find evidence that your religion is true, and I am upset at what your religion, the teachings of, maybe not your religion, but that generic version of Christianity.
Real quick, guys, I am still playing around with, the playback speed on some of these things. Sometimes it gets really slow. Sometimes just knocking it up a notch is too fast. So, just let me know. If it's too fast for you, let me know. If it's too slow and you're down to speed it up, just let me know.
Does to people and,
Let's back that up 1 second.
Evidence that your religion is true. And I am upset at what your religion, the teachings of, maybe not your religion, but that generic version of Christianity, does to people and, potentially poisons things. So
Agreed. I think religion poisons everything. and giving people an excuse to not use rationality, to not use logic, and to reach outside of the rules of the universe that we know the universe is dictated by. I don't like that. But that doesn't mean that, I hate Christianity or I hate Christians, or anything like that. And said the human eye can see very little bits of visible light. Of course, there's other things out there. Yes, the ultraviolet and infrared is those two spectrums. I think each of those two spectrums are larger than the visible spectrum of light, but I could be wrong about that. Plain Rap God, available now at your local grocery store. Good one, about it.
I'm not mad that your God sends me to hell, because I don't think your God exists, or that he does send me to hell, or that he could send me to hell. But when you say that it's my choice and not God's.
See, that's what I mean. Sorry, guys. So when you say that it's my choice and not God's choice.
Doesn't God make the rules on who does and doesn't go to hell?
Yes.
Okay, so definitely not my decision. It's God's decision about whether or not I'm going to hell.
You got that right.
Okay, so why would you call in and say that it's not my choice, it's not God's, it's my choice, if you're then going to acknowledge that it's God's choice?
You guys just heard it too. He said, you're goddamn right. It's God's choice. God makes the rules. It's God's choice. But his whole premise is that it's not God's choice, that it's you are the one who chooses to go to hell.
Because you are making the choice.
What choice am I making?
You're turning your back on Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So no. So to say that yes, I would agree that I have decided or am not convinced that Jesus is real or divine or any of that stuff.
So the question is rejecting Jesus worthy of being sent to eternal damnation?
But you can't have your God. You can't have the situation where your God decides who is or isn't going to hell, and then say that it's my choice because I didn't do it. Because that's like, when the mob rules a particular area, and they come in here and say, "This is a really nice shop you have. It'd be a shame if something happened to it." Doesn't the store owner make the choice whether or not they're going to get killed by the mob?
He makes the choice, but he does not want that for you. Let's put it that way.
How do you know?
He doesn't.
That's where I get it from, guys. Anytime somebody makes a claim, how do you know that? And even I've stopped using that question, because people will just answer, "Oh, well, because it's in the Bible, or because God told me, or because this." The new way that I put it, and if you're in the Discord, you've been seeing Assassin of Atheists has been trying to go at me. How can I verify that? I am willing. Apparently, the two of you who voted are not open to changing your mind on religion. I don't know if you do believe or if you don't believe, but I am absolutely open to changing my mind on religion. I just need the proper evidence. And so if you tell me, "Oh, this is the right way of living if you want to live a sacred life." Okay, I want to live a sacred life. How can I verify that what you are telling me is the truth? Dan said, "It's a good thing God kills babies and innocent people. Not someone I want to follow." Me neither. Mob rules. Great Black Sabbath album.
Want you to go to hell.
Well, then
does not want that for you.
So God doesn't want you to go to hell, but he just makes these rules that if you don't follow them, and that they don't make sense, and even if you try, the way that your brain works won't let you follow them, you go to hell.
That way.
How do you know?
He doesn't want you to go to hell.
Well, then, no. Hang on, Rick. If God doesn't want me to go to hell, and God makes a decision about who does or doesn't go to hell, then God doesn't have to send me to hell, right?
He doesn't have to, right?
Yeah. So if he doesn't have to do it,
that would be,
and he doesn't want me to do it,
totally up to God.
No. If God
exactly, he just said it again. It's totally up to God.
Doesn't have to do it, and God doesn't want me to go to hell, then why would I be going to hell?
Like I said, you're making a choice.
No, see, this is the thing.
You're free to make the choice. God gives you that option.
But it's the consequences. So first of all, belief isn't a choice.
Let me finish.
No, it's my show. I'm talking right now. Belief isn't a choice.
Okay. Goddamn right. Belief is not a choice. I've spent at least almost close to 20 years now desperately trying to believe in God. I continue as I am doing this right now. if any one of you, even in the replay gang, if a week from now you're watching this and you have something that will convince me that God exists and I can go back to believing that my life is, there's a grand plan and that somebody's watching over me, I would love that. But I'm not willing to do that just so that I can feel good. Kind of like, some people will make up a gender to make them feel good. I need to live in reality. So if you are correct, all you need to do is present the evidence. Exactly. Dan said he just wants you to have. He just want you to have a gun to your head. You can do whatever you want. But so Matt has a great example of this here.
Okay, I've asked questions that are designed to point out the flaw in your thinking. If
I got to stop right there and play that again, because that is something that I do all the time that you guys don't seem to appreciate. And I just want to point it out because it's a very common thing when you're trying to have these types of conversations to understand, especially in religion, when the whole thing is about God is this and God is love, but God is everyone and this is that, and everybody has a different definition. There's a series of questions to determine what it is that we're actually talking about. And some people will take those questions and then go on a diatribe. And it's like, hold on, I have a series of questions to try to get where we're going. And you're going off on the first thing. Just bear with me.
I've asked questions that are designed to point out the flaw in your thinking. If you're, do you have a wife?
Yes, I do.
If you were to make rules that say, hey, if you speak to me too loudly, I'm going to hit you. And then she speaks to you too loudly and you hit her. Is that her fault?
Mm-hmm.
Is that her fault?
Of course not.
Okay.
Of course not.
So how is that any different? How is that any different? Oh, because it's God. It's not any different.
And if you don't want to hit your wife, and it's your decision whether or not you hit your wife, how could anything she ever does make it her choice to be hit?
Well, I mean, that to me, I mean, number one, I would never hit my wife.
Why not?
And then number two,
why not?
Why not? Because I love her.
Okay. Does God love me?
I wouldn't hurt her.
Does God love me?
Yes, he does.
Does he want to hurt me?
No, he does not.
Then why would he? Why would he?
Does he make the rules about whether or not I'm going to be hurt?
Yes.
So at what point in this is it anything other? Can God just take me to heaven if he wants to?
Yes, he could.
Why doesn't he?
Why?
Yeah.
Again, it's your choice.
Do you understand? Do you understand why people in religious arguments on the other side get so frustrated? I'm sure many of you who are believers would never make this silly of an argument, but a lot of you would.
Because it's all in the Bible. I mean, it's pretty plain. It's not just...
I'm going to debate whether or not it's... I'm going to debate whether or not it's all in the Bible. And whether or not
I personally have a really bad reaction to being threatened. It's like, fuck you and your God. Okay.
So
let's go.
No, I don't get how God's threatening. I mean, he loves us. God is love. So how is he?
Okay.
You're talking just...
God is love. We got a God is love. Hit it on the counter. We got a God is love.
It's exactly like an abused spouse.
Okay.
He hits me because he loves me. That's what people do. Your religion has gotten you to think that, oh,
it's not God. It's not God that's hitting you.
It's not God that sends me to hell?
God, again, he's letting you make the choice.
Okay, I choose. I'd rather not go to hell. There, I've made my choice.
Okay.
So I just made my choice. Am I going to avoid hell?
Okay. No,
why not?
You can't just, you're going to have to do the right thing.
No. I did the right thing.
So
you said it was, you said it was my choice.
Manipulation coming here.
What do I have to do to avoid hell? I thought it was God's choice whether he sent me to hell or not.
No, you have to accept Jesus Christ as your personal savior.
I did that when I was a little kid.
I said, shit, me too.
And again, as a teenager.
Me too.
Okay.
Fully confirmed in the church.
What if I don't?
But something happened.
Yeah,
Something
I found out I didn't have any good reason to believe it's true.
Okay. That God's dealing with you on it.
How do you know this?
Maybe because I know God loves you.
How do you know
He
that?
wants you to be in heaven.
How do you know that?
It says it in the Bible again.
Why should anybody care or believe what the Bible says? But I'll let you answer that in a second. If God loves me and doesn't want me to go to hell, is there anything that I could do that could trump God's desire to not send me to hell? Am I more powerful than God?
Of course not.
Yup.
So,
God's in control here.
yeah.
Got the memo?
I don't know how else to explain it to you.
So again, we don't have to go through, the entirety of every call, because obviously these, what I am doing, trying to show you these, is to make a point. And yeah, I had about as much of that as I could. But I want to show you as many as I can, because not all of them are, are charted calls. Some of them are very interesting and very good debates. And I believe, so I went through these before. I don't remember exactly all of them, but this one is, when I think about it, the universe is conscious. Let's see what we got from
Brent in California. Thanks for waiting.
Brent. All right, Brent.
This is Brent in California.
Yeah, you're on with Matt and Shane.
Hi there. I'm a big fan. I have been for a very long time, over a decade. I've been looking forward to calling in. I'm curious to find out if there's anything that, in particular, Matt and I could disagree on.
Well, it says here you're a pantheist and you think the universe is conscious.
I think so. Yes, sir.
Why?
I don't
Because
know.
that's the way that it makes sense to me. If I were to put together
That's not an answer to the question. This is like, why do you think that? Because it makes sense to me. Obviously, it makes sense to you because you think that. That is not an answer to the question. Why does it make sense to you? That is what we're looking for. And we have not found it.
Yeah, then there's something we could disagree on.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like the first thing you called in to talk about isn't something he would agree with.
What makes sense to you isn't relevant to what it is.
Again, let me know if it's
you're correct. And I understand that you are an agnostic atheist.
Depending on definitions of knowledge, yeah.
I suppose the entire call could be cut very short by saying, agreed, so what? But I've never come up with anything that I could ever debate you with, Matt.
Well, if your goal was to just after 10 years call up with something to debate me on and you haven't come up with anything to debate me on, then just keep listening.
I could listen. Yes.
Cool. Because I'm not a pantheist.
I know.
I don't see any reason to think the universe is conscious.
Get some clarity there, because
there was literally nothing of substance there. Shane asked you why you think the universe is conscious. And basically you said, I thought about it. And that's the conclusion.
So that's what I skipped. Shane asked, why do you think the universe is conscious? And he said, because I think it's conscious.
said I had premises that led to a conclusion. Yeah. And I'm sitting here asking what all of them are.
So now we're talking about premises. We're getting somewhere. When you have a conclusion, when you have a claim, when I'm asking, how can I verify that? What I'm asking for is one of two things or a mixture of these two things. Either physical evidence that is a direct link that doesn't just like, well, this exists and it could be this. No. It has to be direct physical evidence that has DNA of somebody that would be agreed upon by historians that was Jesus Christ, that was found in the middle of the ocean because he was something along those lines, not just the Shroud of Turin or whatever it's called, or an argument that makes sense and is syllogistically makes sense, meaning that you have your premises. Premise 1, all cats have tails. Premise 2, Fido has a tail. Therefore, conclusion, Fido is a cat. Now, those are premises, and that is a syllogistic argument. Now, Fido is probably a dog, so that is not a good argument, but at least it is organized in a way that we can understand what the steps are. Okay, so all cats have tails. Is that true? Yes. Okay, great. Fido has a tail. Is that true? Yes. Okay, great. Conclusion, Fido is a cat. Okay, well, are there any other possibilities that Fido has a tail and is not a cat. He would be a dog. So then it's not a good argument. But at least we're getting somewhere in the terms of syllogisms, premises, and things like that.
What are these premises and what is this conclusion?
Yep.
Okay. You understand as well as I do the fundamentals of physics and all the different laws of nature, physics.
I don't.
All the different laws of nature. So clearly we have somebody who's very well read on this stuff.
I don't know if I understand them as well as you, or better than you, or less well.
I understand. Okay. If I were to use an analogy, if I were a caveman inventor, and
caveman analogies are another good way to have these types of conversations, because then we can isolate a variable and say, okay, if we're talking about this in God and religion, but that's a very broad and nuanced topic. So let's take one piece of it and draw an analogy where that one piece is the same, so we can focus on that piece. So he's talking about if I were a caveman inventor,
I would say, hey, I think that if I were to take some wheels and stick them on a big box and find a way to make it roll on its own, the wheels to roll on its own, I think that I could make a transport system. Now I have no way of proving this or of doing it.
Whoa,
in my head.
Whoa.
Yes.
What do you mean you don't have any way of doing this? You already evidently know what wheels are and a box is.
I said, shit, me too.
And so you are hypothesizing that you could make wheels, which you already know how they work. I mean, this is the problem. You're struggling to come up with an analogy, and you're doing it based on already knowing what the outcome is. But when you say you don't have any way to test this, why not?
This is this is the only way. Whether it's in the hard sciences, whether it's in sociological or psychology type studies, the only way that you can be sure of a causal factor, meaning God caused the universe, or I got this because I pray. The only way that you can prove that is variable isolation, to make sure that you are only testing one thing. So maybe something I'm struggling to come up with a perfect example of that, but obviously you understand what that is, so I'm going to keep that in the back of my head and come back to it.
Because I have no way
to test this. Why not?
No way to test it?
Because I have no way of manipulating the universe itself in order to test that which...
You don't have any way to put wheels on a box?
You don't have to manipulate the universe to do
that.
Then
I would
How the fuck did we get cars? How did we get cars if we don't have that ability?
Let's say that the box is a car and I'm a caveman. I have no way of extracting gasoline. I mean, I could figure it out just as...
So this is why this is a bad analogy, because what exactly is the variable that you are trying to isolate if you are a caveman inventor that is thinking of he's talking about a car, but he doesn't know that it's a car and doesn't have gasoline, all that stuff. What is the point that you are trying to make? This is a bad analogy, or at least it's being explained in a very bad way.
Go ahead.
Just as I, as a person today, could figure out how to travel to the moon, I suppose.
It's like you have a good understanding and you are putting up roadblocks because, hey, somebody thought, hey, this wheel thing or this round thing, it rolls. Oh, look, we can do this, we can do this. Yeah. And then they build up and they get to this point where we have vehicles and we send somebody to the moon.
I mean, I was guessing by the beginning of where you were going that you were going to give me the teleological or the watchmaker argument. And it sounded like that's what you were doing.
Oh, no.
But
so you see the watchmaker argument. There's so few arguments in for religion that they all have names. God of the Gaps, the watchmaker argument, the Kalam cosmological argument. It's all the same, guys. And the reason, again, that I bring this up and I continue to bring this to you, even though I know a lot of you are believers, is because I want you to understand that you may have a perfectly logical or feasible understanding of what your beliefs are, and your religion could theoretically be true. But number one, you don't know that. And number two, you find strength in that because there's so many other people that claim to believe the same thing as you do. They meet up with you at church. They talk about God. They pray, they do this. But at the end of the day, do they actually believe the same thing you do, or are they just using the same words?
Then right, but then as you kept progressing, it got into something. I don't see what the gasoline part had to do with that. I'm lost.
Yeah.
But
okay,
what is it?
I know what it is, and I'll make the prediction. He is desperate to come up with a scenario where he has a hypothesis that feels intuitively correct, but he cannot actually follow it through to test it. And yet he wants to be justified in reaching the conclusion without actually doing the test.
So if you didn't catch that, what he's looking for is another, similarly to how there is the hypothesis that God exists, but we can't get there to actually prove it. He's looking for another situation where he's saying, "Oh, this exists, but we can't prove it," and we accept that. But we don't do that.
Does that sound relatively accurate to you?
No.
You're asking me? It is possible, I suppose.
Okay, I appreciate that. So, do you think that maybe you're just trying to justify something that you want to believe in? Because it sounds like you don't seem to think that your justification is sound. It seems like you're still trying to justify it.
I can see the argument. I don't have any motivation or reason to believe in what I believe, other than that's what makes sense to me. I don't believe in a heaven or hell.
I don't see why it makes sense to you that the universe is consciousness. Like, I still haven't gotten anything that leads me there, or like I'm still trying to understand how you arrived at that.
But just to put the final nail in your analogy, the time to believe that a gasoline-powered vehicle is a plausible means of transportation
is when it exists.
Is after we've done the actual testing. No.
So Aaron said, think of a person stranded on an island, never hearing of religion or God. You die. And then you get judged. Because of this, you're tossed to the barbecue. I knew religion was BS. Thought of this at 6. Well, absolutely. You know, it goes for unborn babies, people who miscarriages, children who didn't get a chance to get baptized. All of these things are situations where the child did not have the opportunity. They didn't reject God. They didn't have the opportunity to accept him. And according to scripture, that means you're going to hell.
Not for a caveman. The fact that a caveman might think that, not that he knows what gasoline is or whatever else, but might see a wheel and hypothesize about what might be possible in the future, doesn't mean that he's justified in reaching that conclusion, because he also might look at a bird and conclude that we can then fly to another star in our lifetime.
Yeah, Dan says, the absence of evidence proving there is no God is proof that God exists. They really believe that. They really do believe it. And the burden of proof is not on the people who don't accept the claim. If you make a claim, it's your responsibility to provide the evidence.
Okay.
So how do we get to a universal conscious pantheism?
We both agree that there are certain parts of the universe that are conscious. You and I are good examples.
Sure, I agree. Consciousness exists.
Would we also agree that there are certain parts of my body that aren't conscious?
As far as we know, yes.
Yeah. So like, for example, my fingernails, we have no reason to think they're conscious, right?
As far as we know, yes.
Right. Living things are made up of dead things that somehow, a bunch of things that aren't alive make up things that are somehow alive.
Meanwhile, I have, for example, molecules in my body.
So remember, this whole thing started with the universe is conscious. Okay, why is it that you believe that? And then we got on to a caveman thinking of wheels and not being able to get gasoline. Okay.
Like water molecules. We don't have any reason to think that they're conscious, right?
Correct.
As a matter of fact, we have good reason to think that water molecules are not conscious, correct?
Yes, sir.
So my body is now made up of things that are not conscious, and somehow or another, there is still consciousness produced by my body. So the constituent parts of my body don't make any specific prediction about the whole with regard to consciousness. The fact that each individual neuron in my brain isn't itself conscious doesn't mean that consciousness
can't necessarily mean right.
Okay. So this was a way of short circuiting where you seem to be going, which is there is consciousness within the universe. And I want to know how you get from seeing conscious entities in the universe to therefore the universe is conscious.
Two different things. And it bears repeating. Those are two different things. That there is consciousness in the universe and the universe itself being conscious are not the same thing. So let's see if so this is the end of the video here, and then we'll move on to the next.
Put it all short, I guess I would have to say my own mental construct of how it's all put together. And, to go into detail would take a lot of time, and it still wouldn't be proof, of course.
And there you go. It would take a lot of time to explain to you why I believe what I believe, and it still wouldn't be proof. So why are we having this conversation? Now, I'm not saying that it's a useless conversation to just talk about things that you don't have exact, definite answers to. But why call into the show to talk about it? The point of the show is to provide evidence, to provide argument, to provide proof. And if you agree, you understand that the reasons that you have for believing, which is totally fine, you believe whatever the hell you want. But if you understand that that's not proof, then you're missing the point here. You're missing the point.
So,
oh, wrong one. Hold on. I want to. Exactly. He's just saying things, and that's not how logic and truth works. It's just not. You have to have a point.
Me in Shreveport, Louisiana. You're on with Matt and Dennis. How are you?
hey, how you doing?
Doing all right.
Doing well.
All right. So this one is called "I Don't Want to Be Wrong About God" and "Moon Doubts." I don't know what the hell that means, but let's figure out.
So it says here that it says from the call screener that we ask for evidence of a creator, but there isn't any evidence that there isn't a creator. So what do we have? Right?
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah.
Start there.
So we're not sitting here saying there is no creator and we have evidence for it.
Right.
People are telling us that there is a creator, and then they are failing to produce the evidence to justify their claim, and so we're not going to believe it.
That's all it is. That's all atheism is. That's it. There's a lot of things that correlate with people being atheists, not accepting the claim. That's all that atheism is.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Which I personally I agree wholeheartedly with that statement. What you just said.
Okay.
I don't know if there is a creator, but I don't want to be wrong if there is. You know.
Okay.
I said, shit, me too.
So let me ask.
And that's why that's a perfectly rational position. I don't know if there's a God, but I don't want to be wrong, especially if there is a God. I don't want to be wrong about that God. So let's see.
Look at this, Jeremy. Which creator do you believe in?
I don't believe. I believe that. I don't. That's the thing. I wouldn't say that I believe in any just.
Then if there is one, if there is a creator, how do you know? And you don't believe in one, then wouldn't you be wrong?
If there is a creator and I don't believe in one, would I be wrong?
Yeah, you said you didn't want to be wrong, which is why you were believing.
So yeah, Dan says afraid of hell. And we have another call that's coming up that's directly relevant to this. And it absolutely is a major reason why people stick to religion, even though they don't have a good idea of why. Because they believe in hell, they believe in heaven, and that's how they operate. Now, in a time when maybe humanity wasn't as advanced, that is a decent way to keep people in line. But now that we have moved beyond that and we can be good people just for the sake of being good people, then you don't need that. Yeah, 30. Oh, there's way more than 31 flavors of creators.
So which creator is the right one to believe in, and how would we know?
The right creator to believe in would be, based off of my understanding, would be the creator that whoever created this earth, whatever created this earth.
Okay, all you did was argue in a circle.
Well, I'm not arguing at all. I'm just answering the question.
Sure, fine.
All right, Chester. I'm just kidding. If you're watching, that was a joke.
You didn't answer the question. I said, which creator do you believe in? And essentially, you argued we should believe in the creator.
Well, that's the thing. When you say which creator, that would say that there's multiple creators, right?
No, I'm saying there's multiple possible creators. How do you know which one of them is real?
I don't, that's what I'm saying. I don't believe in there's multiple possible creators.
You don't?
There's only...
Guy, we get that you're saying there is a creator, which I kind of wish that they would explain this to him or to Jeremy at this point. That yes, I understand that if there is a creator, there can only be one creator. But is that creator Yahweh of the Christian Bible? Is that the God of the sun god from the Mayans, or what God are you talking? What creator are you talking about?
If there's a creator, there should only be one creator.
Right.
That's about what is actually. So there's Yahweh, there's Allah, there's Vishnu. There's unknown, unnamed. There's thousands of proposed beings that are potential creators according to the religion.
Which one?
Which one is the right one?
Which one is it?
I don't believe in any of those.
Okay. What if
I said shit, me too.
what if Vishnu? What? Let's go with Yahweh. What if Yahweh is real and you don't believe in him, and you said you didn't want to be wrong?
Well, I definitely know that Yahweh isn't the creator. Just
somebody made a claim. I definitely know that Yahweh isn't the creator. Okay. How do you know that?
Based off of the etymology of that word.
Okay.
Yahweh.
No. This is really bad, Jeremy, because the etymology of the word can't in any way prove that the entity behind it doesn't exist. That just doesn't follow.
That makes logical sense. Okay.
Now, here's the other thing. You're concerned.
That's also a little bit concerning. When somebody has a very strong idea that they are presenting as if they know it, and then one little thing, they just throw it away. Like, that's good that they're being, that they're having the discussion in good faith. But clearly they've never really thought about it that deeply before. If a very superficial comment can just make you abandon the entire idea. Listen how quickly he abandons this.
The etymology of the word can't in any way prove that the entity behind it doesn't exist. That just doesn't follow.
And the belief goes.
That makes logical sense. Okay.
Now, here's the other thing. You're concerned.
See, did you see his reaction? He was like, what? That easy?
Concerned about not believing. You're listed here as a theist, as somebody who believes there's a God. And when I asked you about it, you said you didn't want to, you believe because you didn't want to be wrong in case there was one. Well, then this is a
Guys, I would love it so much if you could hit that like button. It is so easy, it is free, it is quick, and it helps the channel so much. We want to get these parties popping. Thank you so much.
Version of Pascal's wager.
Well, no, it's more so. I actually more so feel how you guys feel. We don't know if there is a God. All we saying is there's no evidence. The evidence that I say that I believe in is.
Hey, we got Nejikon. Sorry, I'm terrible at names, but welcome from the cold Magadan. I don't know where that is, but from the probably not as cold, but not as warm as I'd like it, New Jersey. Welcome to the party. We are checking out the atheist experience and determining those who are Christians or other believers. Do these callers who call in and say what they believe, does it match what you believe?
There has to be something.
Oh, welcome.
There has to be something because if just like we created the car, there had to be something that created the earth. What created the earth?
Physics.
Oh boy. Well, how did the earth come? Yeah,
physics.
And now we're getting into the same argument as the last call. The same exact thing. Well, it has to be something. Does it though?
Physics,
right? Who created physics?
Physics. Why would you say who created physics? Do you have any reason to think that physics was created? This is just physics is descriptive of how matter interacts with gravity, the strong nuclear force, the weak nuclear force, things like that.
Okay. So why didn't physics
again? Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I guess if you say so. I haven't really thought about this that much.
Okay, but just like, all right, I'm just use the example of the car again. We created the car, right? We used the.
I really thought that this was the last call because this is the exact the other guy used a car as a creation as well, and this is going back to the watchmaker argument. Some things are created, yes, but I'm thinking I don't know if he's going to do it this time, but all the time the response to this is that if you are walking in the woods and you see a creek and you see a bunch of sticks blocking the water, how do you determine if, there is something like a storm happened and it was, naturally just happened, or if a beaver made a dam? How would you know the difference? Well, it would depend on what the trees in the water look like. If they're packed in very strategically, as a beaver would do, well, then it makes more sense to determine that a beaver did it. But just because there are trees in water does not mean that someone or something put them there.
Technology, we use technology and knowledge to create a car. What knowledge created physics? Because physics
isn't a creation.
Semantic obfuscation. Actually, that's not really obfuscation. That's just the wrong use of semantics. The wrong use of words. Like, that is not how physics work. And again, going back, how do you know what has a creator and who doesn't? Yeah, Dan, who created the storm? Exactly. Same thing over and over and over.
Physics isn't a creation. Physics is descriptive of how matter interacts. It is descriptive of nature.
Okay, who created matter though?
So there's no evidence that any one created matter or that matter requires a creator. When you say who did this, you are assuming that there was a who and that this was something that happened that required a who, neither of which has been demonstrated.
Right. And exactly as the last guy was saying. So let's see if this guy is any different.
I know, but how? So basically, we're all just basically saying we don't know anything.
No, we know lots of things. We just don't know that. Why would you say we don't know anything when we don't know that?
I know,
Exactly.
but I know
More just complete and utter discomfort with accepting that I don't know.
So why should I question if there's a creator? Why should I not? Why should I question that there is a creator, and why should I question that there's not a creator? If we don't know what created matter, if matter always here, we don't know that.
You should question it,
right? Exactly. That's what I do. That's why I'm here. I'm questioning it. So I'm just trying to see if you guys have a better answer than I do.
No,
You're asking the wrong questions, though. That's like asking, where is love? Okay, that's a question. But that doesn't make sense. Love is not tangible, so it doesn't exist in space. And so while those words make sense and the sentence syntactically makes sense, the question does not make sense. Similarly to who created matter.
We don't have an explanation for the origin of the universe, and so far as we can tell, neither does anyone else.
Right.
Exactly. So
that's it.
So
yeah, that's it.
That's okay. So I guess that's just the gist of the whole conversation. I guess we just meet in the middle.
Okay.
How do we meet in the middle if now okay, the only way see you're listed as a theist on the call thing, which means that you believe in a God. But now you're saying you don't, and now you're saying that you agree with us, and now somehow you're saying we've met in the middle. The middle of what? Nowhere?
Well, you guys have to believe in something. So
I believe in lots of things.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you believe do you not believe?
Hey, we got Adam Muhammad in the building. Welcome to the party. How are you doing? We are checking out the atheist experience. Some of these calls from believers and non-believers calling into an atheist show and telling us what they believe and why. And do you believe the same things they do? Welcome to the party. Byron said, hopefully love is at the bar I'm headed to. Good luck with that.
That there's a God?
Correct.
I don't want to use the words God, that there's a creator. You don't believe that there's a creator, right?
Correct. I do not believe that there is a creator, an agent, a thinking agent creator.
I lack belief in a creator, yes.
Okay, so what evidence do you have to believe that?
Who knows the mistake? Who can tell me why that is, again, the wrong question? What evidence do you have to believe that you don't accept this claim that God exists? Why is that not a good question?
I don't believe that.
We're saying we do not believe that.
No, I'm saying what evidence do you have to not believe?
No.
What evidence do you have to not believe? You don't need evidence to not believe. You need evidence to believe. So again, the analogy I like to use often is if we walked into Divine and Rod's going to a bar. So let's say me and Divine and Rod are hanging out and we go into the bar. There's nobody else there and there's just one bartender and the bartender's dead. And Divine and Rod said, it must have been the busboy. Is it my responsibility to say, to prove why I don't believe that? If I don't believe that, maybe I do believe it. But let's say I don't believe it. Is it my responsibility to prove? Well, maybe it is, but I don't accept that. No, of course not. It would be Divining Rod's responsibility to show me why it is the busboy, because it could be anybody else.
No.
You don't need evidence to not believe. Do you believe that Bigfoot's real?
I don't know if Bigfoot's real because I don't have any evidence of that.
Okay. Are you convinced that Bigfoot is real?
I wouldn't know because I never met Bigfoot.
No, it's not what I asked. Answer the question I asked. Are you convinced that Bigfoot is real? That's a yes or no question. There is no other option. Yes or no are the only options.
Anybody seeing where I get my debate style from a little bit?
Am I convinced? Is Bigfoot real?
Right.
No, because I've never met Bigfoot.
Correct. That's exactly what we're saying about God.
Okay, so I get you. So you're saying I never met God, so I don't think that he's real.
It's not a met thing. Met is the evidence.
He's never manifested himself in your life.
I have seen insufficient evidence to warrant accepting that there is a God, just like you have seen insufficient evidence to warrant accepting that there's a Bigfoot.
There you go.
Got it.
Right.
Okay.
And when you can think in these syllogistic premise organized way, it is very easy to point out which part of the argument doesn't make sense, why it doesn't make sense, or what arguments do make sense and why you should believe something. Because a lot of times, truth is stranger than fiction. There's a lot of things that aren't very intuitive, but they're true and they're real. And we know that because of evidence.
Okay. So based off of that understanding, we don't know if there's a God because you've never met him.
Right. And we're not making a statement about objective reality. We're making a statement about our own subjective belief.
Yep.
Is there a belief in God in my head? And I can say, no, I know for a fact that there's no belief in God in my head.
Exactly.
So one of the next
and I think that's exactly what Matt's about to say. One of the next comments is about knowing that God doesn't exist, which again is not contained in atheism. Many atheists do have a firm belief that they know for a fact that God doesn't exist. That would make them Gnostic atheists as opposed to agnostic atheists, like most people are, including myself. Similarly to the way that religious people are agnostic believers. You believe, but you don't know. That's what these words mean.
Common questions, Jeremy, is, well, if you're just not convinced that a God exists, why are you sitting here doing a TV show arguing with people about it? And the answer is really simple. Because if I lived in a world where the majority of people believed in Bigfoot and were trying to legislate what Bigfoot wanted onto everybody else and suggested that we were all nuts for not believing that Bigfoot exists, I would be doing a fucking Bigfoot show.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I totally understand that. So basically what you're doing is in trying to inspire logic to everyone.
I'm also, if there is in fact a God or a Bigfoot, I would like to know that because I'd like to not, I'd like to believe things that are true, as many of them as possible, and as few false things as possible.
Exactly.
Right.
I said shit. Me too. I am not here to say I know what the universe is, how the universe works, anything like that. I am here to show you that maybe these beliefs that you hold don't deserve any space in your mind. And that maybe you have some work to do to fit better ideas in your mind. And also, maybe you have better ideas than I do. But we have to have the conversation and we have to be open to changing our minds. Hey, we got Traditionalist in the building. What is good? What is good? Socialist says religious people be like, hundreds of religions across millions of years and billions of people. Zero proof, but I just know I'm right and we'll go to heaven. Yep. Welcome, buddy. Welcome.
And so I'm giving people an opportunity to present the argument and evidence for their beliefs. And I've done this for 15 years, and the show's been going for 23, 24 years, and the arguments have been going on for hundreds and thousands of years prior to that.
Yep.
And to date, we don't have a single valid and sound argument supported by evidence for any proposed God at all. Now, while that doesn't prove that there isn't a God, it certainly is a strong inductive indicator that there's probably not.
Okay, so we should. All right, so because I'm just asking questions, I didn't really call it to really argue anything.
No, it's all good.
I'm a
I'm
a truth seeker. So
truth seeker.
With
all right.
understanding, with the understanding that basically, hey, I don't believe in God because there's no evidence of him, right? Then my next question is how well, I guess we don't know because we don't know how the Earth got here or
right. We do have a pretty good understanding of the formation of the Earth, or at least a potential candidate. We don't have a time machine, but we understand. For example, we understand the accretion disk from stars and the material that's out there can form planets. We've observed all the factors of this. We just don't have a time machine to go back and watch ours.
But okay, so all right. So when you say planets, all right, this is
all right. So I'm gonna let him make this point because I think it's about to go a little bit more left. We can move on to the next one.
Yep.
Because I don't feel like we have logical evidence to believe that there's a such thing as planets. I believe, like let's just say it like this.
Oh my God.
Believe that I believe the Earth is the only thing that exists. It is our universe.
Then what are those lights in the sky?
Did we not go to the moon? Do we not have Mercury, Venus?
No, I don't believe.
I mean, we may not have gone to the moon. I don't know about that one. That's probably not a good example of proving astronomy.
believe that we went to the moon because based off of what I've researched and what I've found. Like, for instance, I'm gonna give you a perfect example.
I doubt it.
Moon landed.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. All right. Well, let me say it first. All right. All right. For instance, Neil Armstrong. They said he went to the moon. He went to the Sweden ambassador, and they gave him a gift. That gift was supposed to be a moon rock from the moon, the surface of the moon, right?
And it
but
wasn't.
Come to find out, it wasn't. It was petrified wood. So based off of that, if I learned that, why should I believe that somebody went to the moon when that was a lie?
Somebody gave somebody wood instead of a moon rock. Therefore, God. That's not how this works, guys. That's not how this works. And this is what I don't believe that I don't know that any of you think this way. But what I want you to understand is that the overwhelming majority of religious people do think this way. So when you lump yourselves in with those people, they might be very nice and kind-hearted and everything else. But they don't have a good way to look at the universe, look at the world, and determine what information is good or not. Hey, we got Nick Lucetti in the building. What is good? What is good? So I think it's most likely God was created in the minds of people. Just my opinion. How are you doing today, Indian Jesus? I am doing very well. Thank you so much for stopping by. And I completely agree with you. I think that, like I've said many times, that there was a long time when religion did serve the purpose of being the best explanation for the world and the universe, all of that stuff that we had. But that time passed. That time has passed. Now, that does not at all mean that the values that are espoused by religion, like being nice to other people, caring about your community, being having gratitude, showing grace, showing forgiveness, all of these are great values. But as an atheist, if you tell me the only way to achieve these things is to accept a claim that I've spent most of my life genuinely trying to accept and have been unable to, then what you're doing is telling me that I cannot be a good person, and any attempt is a waste. And now I'm better than most of these liberal atheists because they're just like, all right, well, we'll just do whatever we want then. I don't think that's right. But that's what the religious right message tells those people. Yeah, exactly. It's just Taco Tuesday. No, that was LeBron James.
Because you can get a fucking telescope and look.
No, wrong one. All right, so this one is so this is another good one. I believe this is I think this person is a believer, but they're on the precipice of changing, and it's called How Do I Find Hope If I Lose My Christian Faith? Another huge thing that atheists or people who are questioning their religion worry about. Because as I was talking about before, that idea that my whole life is planned out and somebody's watching over me and everything's going to be okay and I'm going to get eternal happiness, that is a great comfort. That is a great comfort. And so to take that away, you don't get that comfort.
Sure. So we've got Elijah in New Mexico. You're on with Justin and Matt.
Hey, thanks for taking me. So I grew up Christian and I've found a lot of hope and joy and peace and et cetera and all that stuff in Christ. And I figure if there is no God, let's say I'm just believing a lie, right? And I think that's what you would say.
Probably, but not definitely.
What would you give me as to accept truth? Because a lot of Christians, they don't want to believe some certain facts about what they believe, like the slavery in Israel and some of the other really obscure Old Testament stuff.
So before he goes on, I do want to address this because this is right on the nose of why I'm doing this. Dennis Prager, if you don't know of PragerU, very big name in the conservative media space. This is exactly what I was just talking about. Dennis Prager is somebody that I respect a lot. Dennis Prager is somebody who has values that I would like to see pushed out into society a lot more than somebody like an AOC or, pick anyone. But when you say this, what do you expect me to do? Why should I try to even be moral if you're telling me that despite all of my efforts for the last 20 years, I cannot be moral? Okay, well then why am I trying to be a good person? Why don't I just go be a hedonist and live on short-term happiness and impulsive, like leftists do? There's no answer to that. That is why this is dangerous messaging. So, Nick said, well said. Thank you, sir. I have the same issue with the claim of morality coming from God. A lot of us do. A lot of us do. Even if you guys are religious, that's fine for you to be religious. But if other people aren't going to be religious, wouldn't it be better that they at least act religious? They act in a way that aligns with your religious values, whether they believe it or not? Or would you prefer we have what we have now with pick an issue on the liberal side?
But they
let's back this up a little bit.
To accept truth, because a lot of Christians, they don't want to believe some certain facts about what they believe, like the slavery in Israel and some of the other like really obscure Old Testament stuff. But they cling to this like idea that Jesus saves them, and that's like they just kind of they want to like deny every other fact. So what do you have as like an atheist to give a better hope than like the resurrection of Jesus like pays for sin, and that like makes me and other Christians like feel like there's like a reason that we're alive, and there's like all this stuff.
Sure. So
yeah, hookers and blow for everyone. Why not? Why not? You are telling Dennis Prager, you are telling people that they'll never live a just and moral life. So don't try. Don't try. Go be a drag queen. Go twerk in front of 9-year-olds. Who cares? Well, you care because of your religion, but I have no reason to care because you said I can't be moral.
Well, hopefully that was worded correctly.
I'm interested in like an example of what hope you think you've been given by Jesus. But if in fact you're correct, if in fact your hypothetical is correct, and that all of the hope you have is false, then what I have given you is an elimination of false hope.
On the nose. So the idea that losing this comfort that I've been talking about, losing this comfort and having to live without that comfort, it's not that atheism takes something away from you. It provides you with the truth and the reality that Christianity or whatever religion has taken from you. You don't have a realistic view of the world when you believe in that stuff. And so, yes, it's not as comfortable, but it's true, or a lot closer to truth. So she says, I think history has proven that powerful people cannot be trusted. Therefore, I assume that some written stories from 2,000 years ago, of which 1,900 years most people couldn't read, can't be trusted either. Crazy thought from traditionalists over here. You're telling me that 2,000-year-old texts about stuff that happened 30 years before it was written is not accurate? No.
When you cure cancer, you don't replace it with something else. The curing of the cancer is the reward. That is the healthy system. And so if somebody has filled your head with a bunch of nonsense that isn't true, and it's impacting how you live your life, removing those false beliefs will impact how you live your life so that you are no longer misled. That is the reward. Not, hey, can I fill you with some other hope? No, if you desperately want to believe that you're going to live forever, then, okay, you can keep accepting delusions from anybody who's going to spoon feed you that you're going to live forever. But
hey, we got off that Henry and Perb. I'm on that shit. What is good? Welcome to the party. It says, do you think the Catholic priests, thousands of kids, proves that they didn't actually believe in God because they wouldn't be doing that if they believe God is watching? No, I don't believe that they don't believe. I just believe that they think, A, that they are in such a position of power that they have a closer relationship to God, so they will be forgiven. And it is specifically in Catholicism, it is said that as long as you, as long as you're truly sorry, as long as you confess your sins, you're all good. So talk about morality. Hey, we got no freedoms in the building. What is good? What is good? It says take is a lie. Medicine's always replaces your illness with something else. Wrong. And hello. Oh, where is he? Maury, you got somebody saying hello. Kitty cat. Oh, there, he's in his bed under there. Here, take a treat. There you go. That one's for No Freedoms. Thank you, No Freedoms, and welcome to the party. Welcome. Brian said, I love how spell check absolutely hates the word hell and fuckers. So does Jesus. Yeah, exactly, Dan. That's the BS of this whole thing. Of that Henry and Perp. It would be so nice. It would be so nice if these morals and values that are preached were followed. But they're not. They're not.
But if you want to have an accurate understanding of this life, where as far as we can tell, this is the one and only life I'm going to get, and that I'm not going to live forever, then that is the reward. Knowing that this is your one shot to interact with people, and that's going to impact how you do it. That is its own reward.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Thank you.
So if I were to say that I don't feel like that is like enough for me, I mean, that might just come across as unintelligent. But like a lot of Christians who, yeah, I guess some people just reject that. But
well, here's the thing. My only concern about the God thing is there sufficient reason to believe that it's true?
Well, I guess that's what I'm doing right now. I'm like questioning and trying to discover. Right.
I haven't yet found sufficient reason to believe that it's true. I find people who, when they go looking, are convinced that there is, and then when I ask them to present it, I get nothing. And in your case, it sounds like you're not necessarily convinced there's sufficient evidence. It's just that you're worried about what happens if you stop believing.
Exactly. Did I save it? Was that one of the ones I saved? Oh, I didn't save it. But I think it was Dan before who was saying afraid of hell. That is what we are seeing here. We are seeing the indoctrination of the belief in hell preventing an otherwise intelligent person from being able to determine what is real and what is not. The fear from the indoctrination has prevented an otherwise intelligent person from being able to determine what is truth. Martin said, healthcare in America means sickness management for profit and is immoral. Yup. So said, some people hate to learn that they are truly just a finite speck of dust in an infinite universe and an infinite timeline. Yeah, some people, it is so far beyond what they are comfortable with, even though it's true, that they have to plug that in with something like, no, it has to be something else. Yeah, and completely right. I'm gonna call you. I definitely thought definitely thought your name was off the Henry and Perp, but I'm gonna call you Perp if that is cool with you. Perp says, imagine touching those kids and then offering others advice after you're done. It's disgusting, but that's religion for you. That's what religion is. Yeah, and collecting money from the kids' parents. That's another good point. I never even thought of that. That's a great point. Like, you're literally getting paid to diddle kids. And then all you got to do is say, we good, right? And you're right there in heaven. That's morality.
Evidence-based belief, it's its own reward. And I mean, sure, it might not be as great to think that you might be able to live forever or go to heaven. And sure, those are awesome, maybe awesome things that might not, but it's much better to believe in something that's evidential than that's going to set you up for a life that's a lot more reasonable.
So like, what would, like, if you could,
the pause is here. Unlike the other guy who just immediately, as soon as the guys on the show said something, that he would just go, oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. Okay, Moon. This guy's actually taking some time to sit on the things that are being told to him and actually think about it. So awesome. Good for him. Hey, we got Salty Plays in the building. What is good, Salty? Welcome. Nick says, it's often hard to be a conservative atheist because you are hated by both sides. Well, Nick, you are in the right place because I know exactly what you mean as a conservative atheist. And that's what I'm trying to make it, less hard for people like us, because it's too easy to be hated by both sides, as you're saying. And it makes sense why either side would hate you if they don't understand you personally, because what they think of atheists is the militant atheist. And what they think of the religion is themselves. And so they may be good people. But as we're seeing with all of these calls, do any of you Christians agree with any of these callers?
Predict. I guess, I don't know, this may be a bad question because you don't really know me that well, but some random Christian, like, I guess you guys were both, Christians before you became atheists, right?
Yeah.
Yup. All three of us.
Right. So when you left the church,
I believe that is a part, maybe not a requirement, but a part of what they look for in the hosts. Because we've got Matt Dillahunty over here. He's a little bit more famous and well known. He's actually not with the show anymore, but and then a co-host. Both will be atheists, and most of the time they grew up in some sort of a religion or a cult and then got out of it. So it's not like these people have never experienced what it's like to go to church or be in a community where everybody believes that kind of stuff. These are real people, that real religious people that have changed their ways. So it doesn't get more legit than that. Perp says religious people are the most judgmental people I've ever dealt with. That was true in my opinion until I met some of these leftists, and they took it to another level. But it's right there. It's a leftist activists and the religious people, neck and neck.
Church.
So he's asking, right? So when you left the church,
what was it that like gave you more like hope or more, like the emotional?
So I can answer this directly for myself. When I lost my religion, when I lost my faith, I was in a very, very angry place because of what I talked about, the same thing as red pill rage. But I was in college at the time, so I was already studying psychology and why people would lean into religions in the first place. So that made it a little bit easier. I was also studying philosophy, which allowed me to experience other ways of thinking that were directly relevant to morality. And so I feel I'm a little bit lucky in that sense, because the period of time when I was going through that atheist rage, that militant atheist phase, I had people around me that provided me with that replacement. And so now that, ever since then, the conversation about what is moral is a philosophical thing, not a religious thing. So she says, if unfaithful people burn in hell underneath the earth's surface for eternity, it'll be damn crowded, considering about 117 billion humans have walked this earth. Papa don't preach moment. Exactly.
Hope for what?
I guess just like the hope that, what you have found in your own belief is like.
I want to back that up, because that is it's very interesting that he didn't, because I had my interpretation of the question, where did you find your hope? And then I gave you my answer, but that's not what Matt said.
Or more, like what was it that like gave you more like hope or more, like the emotional.
What? Hope for what?
I guess just like the hope that, what you have found in your own belief is like satisfactory to you emotionally.
I don't know what you mean.
Hey, we got Kelly Green in the building. What is good? What is good? Welcome to the party. We are doing a, I don't know if you were here for the last religious. Actually, no, I did see you in the comments in the last one. But you know what we're doing with the atheist experience and checking all of this out. Thank you so much for being here, brother. Good to see ya. Let's back this up. What did you just say?
Hope that.
Oh yeah. I wanted to back it up.
Gave you so when you left the church, what was it that like gave you more like hope?
So I gave you my answer.
Or more, like the emotional.
What?
Hope for what? Now I thought about hope for living a good life, being a moral person. But this is not the answer that Elijah gave.
Hope for what?
I guess just like the hope that. What you have found in your own belief is like satisfactory to you emotionally.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah. Okay. I guess it's a bad question.
It's not. I'm not saying it's a bad question. It would be a great question. I'm saying I don't understand what you mean, because.
Hey, we got Iridium Kush in the building. What is good? What is good, brother? Glad to see you as always. Got some more Christians in here. Very, very, very good. Very glad to see you, brother. I don't know if you're here for the last one, but we are doing a stream about, do you believe the same thing as other Christians? Atheist Experience is a call-in show. We got 2 atheists on the screen. You call in, tell them what do you believe and why, and it starts a conversation. Welcome to the party, brother. Good to see you as always. Sister said also, if on average 2 people die a second, how does St. Peter find the time to evaluate every soul at the gates of heaven? God works in mysterious ways.
When I found my way out of religion, it's different for different people. There's some people who suffer incredible trauma because of the religion they used to believe. When they find their way out, that they need counseling and they suffer from religious trauma syndrome. For me, it was,
and they have a whole, not specifically the Atheist Experience, but they have like a whole Facebook group or whatever, recovering from religion, because there are so many people who are so indoctrinated. You know, we're talking about the fear of hell. That fear is so real that even though they understand that they no longer believe, they're still afraid. They're still afraid. And you know, it's very sad. It's very sad. Harp says, sin every day, but have faith that you live for eternity in heaven with God. But sin rarely, and don't believe you will be stuck and suffer forever inside the charred walls of the dam. Are you saying this is what you believe, or are you laughing at other people believing this? Not sure. Thank you very much. Yeah, Iridium Kush, also a live streamer. Definitely go check out his channel. Great, great streamer there. Thank you for stopping by, brother. Really do appreciate it. Sister says, imagine being 30 before finding out Santa ain't real. Yep. Okay, that's yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I'm laughing right there with you. It's crazy. It's crazy that I have to ask. I do have to ask because people do believe that shit. People actually do believe it.
It's like stepping outside into a whole new world, because I was no longer subject to assertions that didn't make sense, rules that seemed to be immoral, questions that people just shrugged off, preachers telling me, well, you know, God moves in mysterious ways, all these platitudes and BS. And here's what your job is in life. Here's what your meaning and your purpose is in life. All of a sudden, my meaning and purpose in life were mine. And the decisions that I made, I could take credit for my own actions and take responsibility for my own actions. I don't get to blame anybody else. I don't get to talk about an afterlife. What do I have? What is it that I have hope for? I have hope in human beings getting together to do what we can to solve our problems, because as far as I can tell,
there we go.
That's the only thing that has ever made the world better.
Does anybody disagree with that? Does anybody disagree with that? Christians spend so much time on the belief part, on the faith part. Why not just focus on this part?
For my own actions that I made, I could get to blame anybody else. I don't get to talk about an afterlife. What do I have?
Why not talk about this part?
That I have hope for? I have hope in human beings getting together to do what we can to solve our problems, because it's...
Well, that's not how words work. Atheism is the rejection of a claim. A religion is a dogma that you follow. So what is a tenet of atheism? What is something that atheists believe? What is something that is an atheist tradition? Those don't exist. All atheism is saying, I reject that claim. Again, I use the example. If me and you are walking into a bar, and there's nobody else there, and the bartender's dead, and you say, the busboy must have done it. Who else could have done it? And I just say, well, I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't know who did it. How is that the same thing? You're the one making the claim. You could be right, but you'd have to prove it. So that I would I would caution you on saying this sentence ever again, because this is just a demonstration that you don't understand what the word means. But glad to help you out. Station said, I don't have hope in people getting together to make the world better. Well, I do, and that is what I am doing here. Action works. What? That's a yeah. Actions and works. That's what matters. Exactly. Not believing in any deity is a type of worship. Okay. How so? What am I worshiping? Nick says, my dad died of cancer when I was 2.5 years old. Sorry to hear about that. After everyone except my mom promised me God would heal him because everyone was praying for him. That is why, that's when God died for me. That's how it happens for a lot of people. It's meant to be this comfort blanket, but it's not real. So when your dad does die, what else are you supposed to think? What else are you supposed to think? Salty says, but what is the evidence for both claims is what I want to hear. We'll get there. Part says, also, there's no question that these preachers cannot answer. There's no question these preachers cannot answer. They will answer questions about God extremely confident when it's a question they couldn't possibly ever know for certain. And yes, exactly, Dan. I didn't. Who said I worship nothing? You're making assumptions now. Did I ever say I worship nothing? When did I make that declaration? Are you sure I worship nothing? Session says, God, if only God didn't stop the Tower of Babylon, and I think wasn't it the Tower of Babel? In Babylon? I don't know. And made people talk different languages, that is when God destroyed the world. Hey, we got Mirage Leonardo here. Welcome to the party. Says, I was raised Catholic, but I'm more sort of like old-fashioned. I'll be honest, I can't even remember the last time I prayed. But I was always taught to treat others with respect. And I do believe that regardless if someone is religious or not, I think they do. I think things happen in life, whether they do good or bad. So I didn't say that I worshipped anything. I just asked you how you know that I don't worship anything. You said that I made a declaration that I worship nothing. That did not happen. The things that do happen. So the things that do happen in life, whether they are good or bad, for a reason. Yeah, I mean, that's getting into other realms of, is there a purpose? Is there a design? And I tend to believe that there probably is some type of motion or a direction in which we're moving. I just don't think it has anything to do with God.
As far as I can tell, that's the only thing that has ever made the world better. No God, no claim about a God.
No, you got no answer. So just to be clear, I have never made the declaration that I worship anything, nor have I made the declaration that I worship nothing. Just so we're clear. None of that is part of atheism. But thank you for stopping by, Iridium.
No attempt to impose a claim.
Let's back this up, see where we were.
Afterlife. What do I have? What is it that I have hope for? I have hope in human beings getting together to do what we can to solve our problems, because as far as I can tell, that's the only thing that has ever made the world better. No God, no claim about a God, no attempt to impose a claim about a God has ever truly made the world better. You can point to, well, we have hospitals and universities. Yes, we do. But that's because of religious people trying to make the world better, not because of the religion itself trying to make the world better.
Yeah, it's going to be hard work, Elijah, and it's not all sunshine and rainbows. I think it's realizing that we have to rely on each other, and like Matt said, the things that get done have to get done by us. So a lot, it might be an easier time to think that there's a God who's in control of everything, and we don't have to worry about the environment or the earth or stuff like that, or climate change, because God's going to take care of it. No, we have to make the hard choices, and we have to do the work. And it's it's a hard thing when I came out, it was a hard thing to realize that I needed to be more proactive in getting things done.
It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of mental energy. But if you don't do it, you'll become one of these hedonistic leftists. If you want to do that, go ahead and do it. But if you think that's going to lead to your own happiness long term, or if it's going to improve our world, society, country, whatever, you're wrong.
And I needed to do my part to help out. But it's the only way we have. It's the only evidence-based option that we know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be dismissive. If you come up with a better way to phrase what it is that you're looking for, I mean, Justin, you can email us. Justin and I, either one, would be happy to try to dig in a little better.
Yeah.
But it's like when people say,
right.
Without Christ, where is your hope? Where's my hope in what? Because generally, when I was a Christian, my hope in Christ was for an afterlife, not for this life. We're not guaranteed. Christianity doesn't guarantee you anything in this life, doesn't guarantee you another minute. The only guarantee that Christianity tries to offer is whether or not you are going to spend eternity with the Father. That's
exactly. So Divine said it takes courage to develop oneself. Absolutely agree. And what they're talking about here is is stronger in Islam, but definitely in Christianity as well, that treats this life that we all say is so precious. What is the whole conservative argument against porridge, as we call it on this channel, if you don't know, the Schmashorschen. So the whole argument against porridge, which I agree with, is that it's ending a human life, and human life is so precious and all this and that. And well, why is it so precious if the life part is just a waiting room and a test for the afterlife? You don't really care about what's going on here. When you go to the doctor, the waiting room is just a buffer to actually get in to see the doctor, the reason that you're going there. So if we're born and this life is just a waiting room, then that further goes to why you might not have any respect for what goes on here. And again, like I said, it's much stronger in the Muslim religion, and that's where you get self blower uppers. You know what I mean? Because they think that, this is my purpose, and I'm going to go somewhere and get 72 virgins. So whatever, it doesn't matter if I blow up a school, because I'm sending them to all the kids and teachers to sit by Allah as well.
That's it. And that's what the hope is, because you can have an absolutely miserable life here. And that's because that's what is happening according to God's plan. So any Christian who talks about hope for a good life in this world doesn't know the Bible, doesn't know Christianity. The only hope in Christianity.
Right, I would agree with that.
So Citizen says, imagine kids pledging 5 days a week for about 13 years to a certain doctrine under God. I don't blame them for struggling with breaking free from religion later on. Absolutely. 100% agree with you. It's not an easy thing to do. And it's a scary thing to do, as we see from a number of the callers here. It's a scary thing to go out on it's like, if you you don't know how to swim, right? And you're on a boat, and you're wearing your life jacket. You know that you don't know how to swim. But if you take off that life jacket, well, that changes things by a lot, doesn't it? And so you better learn to swim real quick. Doesn't mean you're definitely going to end up in the water, but you want to know how to swim.
Yeah, the only hope for an afterlife. That hope for an afterlife is only hope. That's the only hope. And I prefer to focus on this.
I would say one thing though. I think you mentioned how, like, when you asked preachers and stuff about like these questions, and they would just kind of shrug it off. I feel like, in a sense, my experience has been a little bit different, where they're kind of like, okay, yeah, let's talk about this and let's go through it. And
I agree. People I find the more seriously people take religion, the more they are willing to accept the parts that aren't perfect. Because the people, priests, theologians, these type of people understand the religion way better than most of your average churchgoer, because they don't study this stuff. They just go, they sit, they listen, and that's it. Half of them haven't opened a Bible. Half of them don't even know who Job is. But they know everything. And they're so right. And they have so much confidence. Oh yeah. Promising for JJ in the afterlife is so low. Well, especially when you can't have it here, then it's a definite reason to want to go there. Nobody said those virgins would have a JJ, though. Yikes. Imagine that's what it really is. Oh, man. You're like, all right, these virgins. Like, well, why do you think they're virgins, bro? Exodus 21. Is that the one about slavery? I'm not familiar with any particular verse by its book and chapter and verse. But I'm decently familiar with the bigger, the more popular verses. And I have read through the entire Bible one time.
I still have questions. I feel like the people, like the Christians I have, are giving me some like good, like they're actually valuing my
So I see it in the YouTube thing, just waiting for it to come up. Yeah, come on, StreamYard. So yeah, the Exodus 21 verses, chapter 21 verses 20 and 21. Anyone who beats their male or female slave with a rod must be punished if the slave dies as a direct result. But if they're fine in a day or two, it's all good. Not only is it all good to own the slave, it's all good to beat the slave. Talk about morality.
Questions, you know, not just like shrugging them off. I don't want to say that like because of that I'm right, but I don't know. It's a big search.
Yeah, it's a lot. And here's something. I'm going to make a recommendation that we make all the time, and you probably heard it, but you should contact Recovering from Religion. It is not just for atheists. It's for anybody who's questioning, anybody who's struggling.
Yeah, so they're talking about that. We'll go to the next one. But yeah, so beating with a whip is totally okay. Beating you know, all of that. It's I'm sure you could do that too. Yeah. Nick says, I believe if life is all there is, then how I treat others is that much more important. Exactly. 100% agree with that. I want to make life better for others because that gives me purpose in my life. Wait a minute. You can't have that opinion without a belief in God.
How dare you?
Wait, you can? Oh, yeah, I do too. Hey, Van Allen in the building. What is good? What is good? Welcome to the party. Glad to see ya. Says, I used to read my son a nighttime kid's Bible story. He turned to me, Dad, on the seventh day, God rested. What's he doing now? Go to bed, son. Good answer.
There are experts there.
So this one is God and quantum mechanics. So you will often get people talking about religion and invoking thermodynamics and quantum mechanics and consciousness in the universe and all this stuff that they heard from people like Deepak Chopra, who preys on people who don't understand quantum mechanics or thermodynamics or religion or spirituality, and, you know, jumbles up a bunch of words and makes it sound pretty. And then you get stuff like The Secret. Well, if you just manifest it. Protect innocence at all costs, especially your own. I like that one. Hey, we got Dietrich in the building. What is good? What is good? Welcome to the party. So we'll trade morals for SpaghettiOs and meatballs. I mean, whatever floats your boat, homie.
They can direct, if you need therapy, they can direct you.
Yeah.
Again, this God and quantum mechanics.
This may go down a similar route, but we have Andre in Pennsylvania wanting to call something about a principle of thermodynamics.
Yes. How are you doing today? Happy Mother's Day. Yes. I came up with an argument for God. It has to do with quantum mechanics. And there's a theory in thermodynamics.
Hang on.
It has to do with an absence of information releases energy. Oh, yes.
I don't care.
Yes.
So first of all, thermodynamics is not quantum mechanics. And I'm not a physicist.
Yeah, it has to do with science.
Either of them. So what difference does it make?
Well, God explains why entropy was minimal at time zero.
Does he know?
No, he doesn't.
Well, I'd get to the what I'm trying to say.
Nope. Go get yourself a Nobel Prize.
Automatically, you would assume he doesn't.
I'm not interested in people talking about quantum mechanics.
Well, I won't talk about quantum. I'll talk about thermodynamics.
Why would I be interested in that either?
Well, because I believe God is physical, not non-physical.
Wait. Did he just say I believe God is physical? Not let me hear that again. But this is the claim. So now we're getting to the claim.
Well, because I believe God is physical, not non-physical.
Oh, so he said. So the claim is God is physical. So there is a thing that exists somewhere that you can touch. That is God. That is his claim. That is Andres from Pennsylvania's claim.
I believe God can be proven
in the sense
in
that
physical realm.
God exists and is bound by the physical realm.
Well, God is the physical realm, but the physical realm and the abstract realm.
So what he just said, God is the physical realm. Well, that's not how that works, friend. Either God is a physical thing within the physical realm, which would make it physical, or everything is God and I'm God and I'm not blasphemous for my channel name.
Are combined in the universe. God would be the mind of the universe, being the brain, and I think I could prove this in a very short amount of time.
Okay, let's hear it. He's going to prove that God is the brain.
If you're willing to listen,
I don't know how that you could, because that's nothing but an assertion of this is how you choose to define God.
Well, God would be an algorithm.
I could.
So now first God was a physical thing. Then God was the entire physical realm of the universe, and now God is an algorithm. Which is it?
Say that God is the bubbles in my Coke Zero, and I could therefore demonstrate that God exists, but that doesn't mean he does.
Well, it has to be the maximal amount of it. Well, okay, entropy and
there you go. If somebody's bringing up entropy and talking about God, they don't understand thermodynamics. They don't understand entropy.
Information or correlate. So at time zero. Now I won't get too deeply into this. At time zero, entropy was at a minimum, and information was at a maximum. So minds are measured by information, and therefore the information at the beginning had to be maximal, and that would represent God being all good and all powerful and all knowing.
Did anybody make sense of that? Especially Christians? Do you guys have any idea what this is saying? One more time, because I really want to try to get this.
And therefore the information at the beginning had to be maximal. And that would represent God being all good and all powerful and all knowing.
Okay, I don't buy it. Thanks for calling.
Well,
yeah, every time I get somebody talking about,
ooh, we got a good one. So when you actually watch the Atheist Experience show, it's not just call. They'll do a call and then they'll chat a little bit. So I guess they hung up already, but there's still another 4 minutes of this video. So we'll maybe get some more specific explanations without the caller themselves.
Oh, quantum mechanics or thermodynamics. It's always the same argument of a false dichotomy and then an argument from ignorance. They say it's either this explanation or God, and I don't know something, so it's God. It's always that. And don't get me wrong, I've talked to some really smart people who get onto talking about quantum mechanics, and it's like, wow, you are very educated in this field.
Yeah.
But then your final argument is that there's this thing that you don't know, and that therefore there must be a God.
That is the God of the gaps argument. That is not how it works. You don't get to make those claims.
And
it's so this particular entropy information thing comes from information theory, and it's this notion that as entropy increases, information decreases. But this is a very esoteric view of information, and there's an equivocation fallacy when you try to go back to at the beginning there was zero entropy, which means there was maximal information, and maximal information is something that I'm going to define as consistent with a being that knows and understands everything.
That's a whole lot of mental gymnastics. Just because there is this notion of entropy that exists in thermodynamics, that everything eventually, breaks down, that at the beginning of the universe, there was the least amount of broken downness, because that happens over time. So somehow that fact is proof of God.
Except that none of that is real. The thing we're talking about information theory isn't, oh, there must be a God container for all information. And plus, the telling thing about this is that if you're going to redefine God,
which they all do, you will not find one other person on this earth that has the exact same definition of God as you.
So that, it is an entirely a product of the natural world. Well, first of all, you've done nothing to explain the origins of this. It doesn't fit with this notion of being outside, but also it means that your God is getting stupider as it goes, because its information is decreasing as the entropy increases, and your God is so now you're just talking about something that you can't demonstrate act.
Now you're just saying things. So Sizzler says, there's this burning ball in the sky. It must be God. Oh no, it's the sun. But there's these sparkles at night. It must be God. Oh no, more suns. But there's wind. It must be God. Oh no, thermodynamics. It will go on and on and on and on and on because it's based on faith, not on knowledge. So let's move on to the next one. We got an IRL one, and this is putting the atheists on the defensive and saying, why aren't you guys nihilists?
Jonah, thanks for waiting.
No problem.
It says here your question is why am I not a nihilist? Or I suppose that's for both of us.
Yes. If atheism is about a lack of belief, how come you're not nihilists?
I am a.
So let's just get a definition, because nihilism is the philosophy that nothing really matters and there's no purpose to anything. But it's what the hell is that? It's often bastardized. So nihilism here says the rejection of all religious and moral principles in belief that life is meaningless. They condemn the show for so the idea that life is meaningless, that part is often you could say that part is often misconstrued as if there cannot be a meaning. But what it actually is saying is that it doesn't have an inherent meaning. And so they'll get a little more into that.
I'm a nihilist depending on the definition, in the sense that I don't believe there's some intrinsic purpose or meaning to the universe. I believe that meaning is something that, and meaning and purpose is something we imbue the universe with.
Meaning and purpose is something we imbue. Didn't mean to do that. Meaning and purpose is something we imbue in the universe. There is no inherent meaning to life. There is no inherent purpose to you being here. You're just here. Your parents screwed, and now you're here. That's it. But nobody is stopping you from living the life that you want to live and finding your own purpose and your own meaning.
Just like I don't believe there's an externally imposed plan for my life, but that doesn't mean I don't have a plan for my life. So in the weak or soft sense of nihilist, in the sense that I don't believe there's some intrinsic universal purpose, I am. I'm not a nihilist in the fatalistic sense of none of this matters, because I recognize it matters to me.
Oh, I thought he was gonna go. Oh, none of this matters. So I'll do what the caller is asking is, why aren't you a nihilist in the sense of like, oh, nothing matters and I hate my life and everything is not. That's not what nihilism is. I mean, it can be. It could be a part of it, but that's very basic. Sister said, I can be an existential nihilist. I mean, I don't disagree with the existential nihilist point of view, really, but I fall closer towards absurdism in the because, as we just read, nihilism does say that there is no meaning. And I think that while a lot of people who do consider themselves nihilist go to the type of definition that I just gave, where there's no inherent meaning, I think what you're talking about is like the pessimist look that people think of, where the absurdism is more an acceptance of, oh, this is all just, we're all just here, and it's a lot simpler. Oh, we got come on, this StreamYard thing. We got Alex Pickens in the building. Yes. We did recently hit 1K. I have applied for the YouTube partnership program. We will soon be having a monetization party, and I am so excited. There you go. Not a pessimist, just a realist.
So you're non-nihilist because you don't want to be true?
I don't think that's remotely what I said. We don't want what to be true.
Well, if lack of belief is what atheism is, how come you're not a fatal nihilist?
We lack belief in gods. We believe in all sorts of things.
Yeah.
On the basis of what?
Sorry, what?
On the basis of what?
Experience, sensory, just sensory experience. I believe that this mug is here because I can touch it and I can feel it. Now, I could be a brain in a vat, and this could be an illusion. Could be, probably not though. So let's see. A couple comments here. Nick says, thank you, Indian Jesus, for doing this. You are very welcome, Nick. I think you are a good man because you have a good intention. Thank you for saying that. It's nice to know I'm not alone in this kind of thinking. Not at all, brother. You are in the right place. You are definitely in the right place. I don't always talk about, I know you've been here before. I don't always talk about religion, and especially because a lot of the people that watch are religious. I don't necessarily want to alienate people, but because the point of this channel is to highlight dogmatic thinking and the problems with dogmatic thinking, I do have to go there. And I need those of you who are believers to understand where I'm coming from, and graciously, I think a lot of you do. There's some who are, not willing to accept it, but that's okay. But if you're willing to accept that, a hammer on the leftists for this stupid belief and that stupid belief and this ideology and that, but you can't look at your own ideology. What does that say about you? So thank you for that, Nick. I really, really do appreciate that. Maybe I am 6'11". You guys will never know. Well, until we do, when we do, I'm thinking maybe 10K, we'll do an IRL meetup, something like that, and then you'll see how tall I really am.
On the basis of.
So again, the question. We'll just back it up.
All sorts of things.
Yeah.
On the basis of what?
Sorry, what?
On the basis of what?
On the basis of evidence that, granted, I don't have a solution for the problem of hard solipsism, but I'm convinced that there are other minds, because it would be monumentally arrogant of me to assume that I am, in fact, the only mind. And so because there are other humans that I interact with, and because I have feelings and I have thoughts about things, and things matter in value to me, and other humans, there are things that Don tells me matter to him. There are things my girlfriend tells me matter to her. And so recognizing that this is the world that I am experiencing, things matter to me. It doesn't matter to me if the universe has some intrinsic meaning or purpose for my life, or if there's a God who has an intrinsic meaning or purpose for my life. I have a meaning and purpose for my life, and that's enough.
Exactly. This is most atheists. But these purposes have nothing to do with combating religion, with disproving religion. Most atheist lies have nothing to do with believing in a God or trying to convince people not to. It's just the same way that you don't believe in leprechauns. How much time do you spend trying to argue against the existence of leprechauns? Probably not that much, right? Now, if somebody was saying, hey, you can't wear shoes because that's where leprechauns live, so we're going to legislate that nobody can wear shoes ever again. Well, then you might be wanting to pick up the conversation about whether or not leprechauns exist. And for a long time, the religious right had a huge stronghold, still does, on politics. And it's only until the leftist extreme dogma came out and became more crazy that this took the back seat.
What is it that you think I don't want to be true, or that I'm believing that?
So you're a subjectivist, a moral subjectivist.
Well, yes. How did we get to morality? I mean, it's like hang on. It's like you're calling in, you ask about a specific philosophical concept, which is often easily confused. The fatalistic notion of nihilism is one that I don't share. But the nihilism is a simple thing, that the universe doesn't have an intrinsic meaning or purpose in my life. And I explain all of that. And then the first words out of your mouth is that you just believe it because you don't want it to be true. And when I ask for clarification on that, you immediately jump to, so you're a moral subjectivist.
So remember, there was a caller before we were talking about that. He will just throw away things that he was so confident about, and they say one thing to debunk it. And he's like, "Oh yeah, that's a good point. My entire thing is gone now." And then the next caller, I think when it was he was asking about hope and what kind of hope do you have, and Matt gave an answer. He had to stop and think about it because he hasn't thought about it before. Now this person also has not thought about these things. But even having this conversation that we are watching, they're still not thinking about it. They're still just trying to win the argument instead of having a conversation.
That has nothing at all to do with anything I just described. And it's not an answer to my question.
It's valuable to you, therefore it's a subjective.
Maybe so.
No. I want to let him actually say something that's useful that pertains to what we were discussing.
Well, it's valuable to you, and only because you like it, therefore it's subjective.
Yes, as I noted, the things that I value are subjective. But that's not, we weren't talking about morality.
But you're making a value judgment.
Sure, but that's not what's happening. Yeah, Divine Rod, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but Easter Bunny, I don't...
yes, I'm making value judgments about what I value. But that's not, first of all, that's not, we weren't discussing morality. And subjective morality is a very specific and confusing subject as well, which is that whatever a particular society says is moral. And that's not what my position is. And so you're conflating my acknowledgement of my nihilism in a weak sense, and then wanting to derail to subjective morality.
So what, what he's talking about, subjective morality can be understood in different ways. So like, to Christians, believers, whatever, morality is not subjective. Morality is what is dictated by the dogma. To those of us who don't have that dogma, then theoretically, yes, morality is subjective, but not in the same way that beauty is subjective. And you might think that girl's busted, and this dude thinks she's so hot. There's a whole other conversation about morality, but we've talked about the moral landscape, and similar to the game of chess, there's no natural rules to chess. We made it up. But once we determine the goal of chess, then there are objective, not subjective, objective moves that are better and are worse. So, while there may not be any hardwired rules of morality in the universe, once we, as evolved, civilized humans, determine that we want to live in a world where we can maximize human well-being and minimize the suffering, or not even human well-being, it might just the well-being of sentient beings, and minimize the suffering of those sentient beings. Well, okay, that might not be inherent to the universe, but if that's not what you're talking about when we're talking about morality, then what the hell are you talking about? Brown says, I knew you would go Easter Bunny. Now what, the Tooth Fairy? I'm just going to let you look that one up on your own, homie.
When the two aren't necessarily connected, without acknowledging that I answered your question or anything else, or even trying to stay on topic. So it seems like, Luke,
just saying things.
Luke, you're calling in as if you found what you think is some gotcha. And since we started with gotcha questions, bring it on. Give us the gotchas.
So light nihilism doesn't reinforce your moral subjectivism.
What?
So
I don't think they have much to do with each other.
What we use as a foundation for morality, which I will go with, along with Sam Harris and a number of others, well-being. There's no objective, intrinsic requirement that be a foundation for morality. It is a subjective assessment that this is what we should be going for. Once you have that as the goal, as here's where I'm going to define morality as well-being, and yes, it's not completely defined, and that is a subjective determination. But after that, I can make objective assessments about actions to determine if the consequences of those actions further the goal. The goal may be ultimately subjective. The thing is, it doesn't matter whether it's subjective or arbitrary. Just like game chess, which I've used as an example over and over again.
So he's going to use the exact same thing. Of course, that's where I got it. We all use it because these arguments are so frequently used. So Nick says, if it truly helps you, by all means believe. I agree with you. Just please accept that it doesn't help some of us. It actually hurts. We should love each other, not hate because of something we can't prove or disprove. There you go. Nick's got it right. Nick's got it right. I love this. I love this. What is so horrible about this? That a Christian sees what Nick has said, and said, nope. That's not good enough. You have to believe what I believe. You have to believe what I believe. Well, We already have people who don't believe what you believe, and they're at Pride and doing. I mean, no hate on going to Pride, but you know what I mean. So wouldn't it be better if those people already are not going to believe what you believe, that they act in a way that aligns with your ideology? We got Christ brings a sword in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My destruction is near. How do you know that?
Ultimately, the rules of the game are arbitrary. We invented the rules of the game. And the goal of the game is to not lose. That's subjective. And so what you're basically doing is I'm talking about how we can play a game of chess. Mm-hmm. And you're coming in saying, what if I don't care about winning about chess? It's just your subjective opinion. Yes, exactly. I'm talking about chess. And I'm presuming that most of the people I'm talking to, do you care about human well-being? Do you care about the well-beings of society? Do you care about finding out what sort of things make society better and what sort of things detract from it? What sort of things make our lives better? Do you care about that?
As a Christian, yes.
Okay.
As a Christian, yes. Again, why is that part relevant? Because there's many Christians who don't feel that way. There's very many atheists who feel that way. You're trying to shove a square peg into a round hole.
Okay, well, I'm not a Christian and I care about it. Why would you as a Christian care about it when the Bible says that this life is like dirty rags and that the real life is the one that starts after we die? You don't have a foundation to care about human interactions at all.
Because I'm obligated to?
No, you're not. You are not obligated to do anything according to the Bible except to represent Jesus and tell people about the future and to allow the Holy Spirit to use you to guide them to determine who will be saved to the real life and who will be saved to eternal damnation. There's nothing about human concerns. Care not, take no concern for the lilies. Take no thought of tomorrow. There's nothing humanistic about Christianity at all. It is a death cult waiting for the real life to start.
Yep. Life is just a waiting room. And I think Christ would do work with that AK.
My view says, you know what? I think this life matters. And it seems to matter. And by the way, I think it matters to Christians too. I'm just saying you don't necessarily have a biblical foundation for it because that's not the goal. The goal in Christianity is to get to heaven to spend eternity with the Father. That is the goal, right?
And yeah, because that involves living a righteous life.
No, what living a righteous life is not the path to salvation. Where did you get that?
When you're saved, you're commanded to live a righteous life.
To live a righteous life when you're saved. But it's salvation that determines whether or not you go to heaven, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Is salvation determined by works?
Oh, well.
No.
No. And yet my view is focused on works, doing the things in life that make life better because I'm focused on this life that we're sharing, that we care about. The living a righteous life, according to most modern Christian denominations, is living in accordance with what God wants you to do, specifically with the focus of becoming, God is going to save by grace through or by faith through grace, whoever he determines. Like you have no idea who's going to be saved, do you?
Nope. Admirer says, but what about our brothers and sisters, the lost sheep, and giving shelter to the weak? I don't understand the question. What about our brothers and sisters, the lost sheep, and giving shelter to the weak?
Oh, I just know I'm saved. That's all I'm privy to.
How do you know you're saved? Isn't God the only one that knows that? What if God decides not to save you?
Well, then he would let me know.
How do you know that?
The confidence I have in him.
You have confidence in him, but, does he talk to you?
No.
Okay, so has he ever let you know anything?
Yes.
How does he let you know if he doesn't talk to you?
It was a spiritual experience of realization.
Okay, you say it's a spiritual experience of realization. How do you tell the difference between your spiritual experience of realization and somebody else's delusion?
I love to compare and contrast.
What does that mean? I love to compare and contrast. Nobody not even the most diehard Christian, takes seriously the guy who is on the streets of New York with a sign saying, repent, God is coming because whatever they're saying. Some of them will claim to be the second coming and all that shit. None of you guys believe that. None of you guys believe that. So, gotcha, thank you. It's a silly compare and contrast. Compare and contrast what to what? What are you talking about? This is beware of people who say they have the truth. Exactly. If you claim to have the truth, you better be able to prove it. And if you can't, you're full of shit.
Okay, compare and contrast. Why are there over 1,000 denominations of Christianity all claiming to get revelations from God that don't agree?
30,000.
I'll just stick with over.
Individual differences?
Individual differences. And yet they disagree on salvation. They disagree on the character of Jesus. They disagree on whether or not Jesus was real.
Yeah.
And yet, let me line up here. I used to be a Christian. We'll put you and me and 5 other Christians in the room, and we'll start asking, what's God's take on things? Do you think we're all going to get consistent answers?
Maybe, maybe not.
Okay, maybe not.
So Christ brings a sword. I'm going to call you Sword if you don't mind. How do you know that this is the truth? That the truth that kingdom of God is coming? I would love to be able to verify that. I am absolutely an atheist, but I am constantly looking to verify the truth. I don't want to be wrong, and I want to live in the best possible way. So if that is according to your religion, then I would just love to be able to verify that. So how can I verify that? How can I verify that? How can I verify that the Bible is perfect?
But if the answer is maybe not, then isn't that an admission that
let's back that up.
Get consistent answers?
Maybe, maybe not.
Okay, maybe not. But if the answer is maybe not, then isn't that an admission that God isn't clearly communicating with people? If God is there to guarantee and provide this certainty that you know you're going to heaven, what if God told one of the others that you're not?
I'd like to know why.
I would like to know why too.
I said shit. Me too.
So why doesn't God come down and clear this up instead of having theists call in to talk about whether or not an atheist has any reason to care about the universe when clearly we all do? Isn't it completely obvious?
Hey, we got Mike in the building. What is good, Mike? Good to see you as always. Definitely agree with that. Yep. Circular argument. But so we left off with Sword saying because the Bible is perfect, and again, I'm willing to accept that, but I would just like to verify that. And I asked you how. You said you compare the prophecies in the Bible to actual events on earth. For example, the fact that Israel came back to their land as a nation is in the Bible. But it was in the Bible first, right? So the people who came back to their land could read the Bible, right?
That as long as you and I are stuck on this planet, irrespective of your God or your belief in God, you and I benefit from making this world better, right?
But you openly said that your foundational assumption
That's
is
not the
subjective.
question.
Yes, making the world better is subjective to care about, but what makes the world better is not subjective.
But is that proven to be true? Am I obligated to do so?
No, hang on.
What?
You're not obligated to do anything, not even by your religion or your God. You're commanded to do stuff, but you are free to do whatever you want, right?
But I thought we were talking about what we should do.
Yes, we are.
That's not what obligated means, bro.
And if you and I agree that we want to have a better world, and we begin by defining in places and discovering so you and I are physical beings in a physical universe, right?
Yes, technically.
Okay, and technically, the laws of this universe, the physical facts about this universe dictate whether or not something is in our best interest or not. Like, it's a physical fact that me lopping off Don's head is not in his best interest right now, given everything, right?
Yes.
Okay. And that drinking battery acid is worse for us than drinking apple juice.
Yes.
And so
I appreciate that he's actually listening and thinking about the questions, unlike some of the other callers. But yeah, battery acid and apple juice, that's a pretty easy question.
So let's just talk about physical health for a second, because this is directly analogous. So there's nothing in the universe that requires us to be healthy or to care about being healthy, right? We can eat whatever we want. I can give myself diabetes. I can be a vegan or not a vegan. There's nothing about the universe that requires us to care about health. But
America, you can be unhealthy as you want. Just don't ask me to pay for your health care. Okay, so earlier, Christian Sword said you compare the prophecies to the Bible, the actual events on Earth, and I was saying if that happened after, then clearly they could have read the Bible and made that come true. So Sword says the Bible says that. Well, okay, well, wait. You're talking about what the Bible says. We still haven't established how I can verify that the Bible is perfect. So before we move on to why it doesn't matter what the Bible says if I can't trust it. You're saying the Bible is perfect, and I'm willing to accept that. I'm just asking how I can verify. What method did you use to determine that the Bible is in fact perfect? If it is perfect, then we'll go through this. But if it's not perfect, then it doesn't really matter, does it? Spider-Man comics say a whole bunch about Spider-Man, but Spider-Man doesn't exist. Mike says, check out all the prophecies and Matthew of the birth of Jesus to the Old Testament. They do not match. Yep. On a lighter note, food-wise, is not chicken omelet the most blasphemous food ever? No, I mean I wouldn't go for a chicken omelet, but depending on how you prepare it, could be good. You know, maybe like a ranchero type deal, little a taco deal, like a taco type thing. And I mean, in Jersey, we put egg on everything. We put eggs on burgers, yo. So I don't know. I might not be with you right there. So again, we are talking about what is in the Bible, but we are trying to determine why it matters what is in the Bible. You claim the Bible is perfect, and I am asking, how do you know that, and how can I verify that? This is prophecy. I read what you said, but you have not answered the question. Why does it matter what the Bible says if the Bible is not perfect? You are saying it's perfect. I'm willing to accept that. But I don't just believe random people on the internet. So I would like some type of verification. If it's perfect, it shouldn't be that hard to prove it. And as who was it? As somebody brought up, that the Gospels don't even match. So yeah, they don't match. So how is that perfection? And again, if it is perfect, fine. Then let me know that so that we can move on and I can determine, okay, this is something that I need to pay attention to. But until you do that, then this is as relevant as a Spider-Man comic. Dan says, people wrote the Bible, not God. Therefore, the Bible is not perfect.
We care about health, don't we?
We do care about health.
And health is not particularly well defined, and it will vary a little bit. Some things that are going to be healthy for me aren't.
All right, we can. All right, bro, you want to do it? The Bible says that there will be oil in the sea and sand in Israel today. We know there is a huge oil field off the coast of Israel in the sand. This is prophecy. Read what I said. There is an oil field off the coast of Israel, just as the Bible says in Deuteronomy. Okay, now I read what you said. So if you would like to continue, please answer the question that has been presented to you. I don't know how you not answering a question is me getting defeated. Why do I care what the Bible says? Yeah, apparently he is. I thought we were just having a conversation about dogma and why it's good or bad, but apparently somebody's here to fight. I guess, you know, that's very Christian of him, but oh, that's very interesting. I didn't even think about that. Huh. Again, why would I not take the prophecies that are in Spider-Man comics over the Bible. How do you know that the Bible is perfect? That is the question. There's no other question. You want proof of the Bible? There's prophecy to compare it to real events. Again, you're just saying the same things. Why are you? What is the point of me reading what you're going to say before if you're just going to say it again? It's not proof of something if I say, hey guys, I have a prophecy. On Monday at 8 p.m., I'm going to be here. And then on Monday at 8 p.m., when I show up, that's not a prophecy. That's just me doing what I said I was going to do. So if somebody reads the Bible and said, oh, it says here that people go back to Israel, and then they go back to Israel, that is not a prophecy. That is just people doing shit. Sorry.
Are going to be healthy.
So again, if you would like to continue this conversation with me, you can argue in the comments all you like. But if you'd like to continue the conversation, then I would like you to answer the question that is presented to you, or I will take that as your defeat.
For Don and vice versa, because while we're similar, we're not identical.
What truth? What truth? You have not presented any truth. You have not presented anything that has alluded to any truth. So again, I will present the question to you. How can I verify that the Bible is true? One more time, just because I know you're slow. So how can I verify that the Bible is true? That is the question. If you do not have an answer to that question, then you lose. Exactly. Susan says, my economics book predicted economic expansion followed by a recession, crisis, and recovery. And real events have proven this to become true, become reality multiple times. Therefore, economics is prophecy. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. So again, all right. Which predictions have come true without the Bible, without the people reading the Bible? Again, if you are saying that a prophecy is me saying, hey guys, I'm going to be here on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then that comes true, that's not what a prophecy means, bro. It's sad. It's sad. Dogmatic thinking will make otherwise intelligent people dumb as hell. You know this doesn't make sense. All of you can see it. All of you can see that this is just mental gymnastics to try to prove something that cannot be proven. So since you're not listening and you're not answering my questions, then, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to move on with the show because everybody else here is, I don't want to hold that up for everyone else. So Mike says, I've been there, or was at one time. It's hard to be open to other ideas where you have preconceived idea that you were right. Yep. Take the L, homie. Take the L.
Now, if it's
okay, I'm wrong. You're right.
Subjective for us to care about health, does that make facts about health subjective?
Let's back that up.
Yes.
No. Battery acid, not identical. Now, if it's subjective for us to care about health, does that make facts about health subjective?
Thank you, Stitchlist. I don't know why this didn't come up in my head, but this is all that Christ Brings the Sword is saying. But instead of using tarot cards or the Quran, you're just saying things. I said it, so therefore owned. Like, bro, that's not how this works.
Yes.
No.
Let's put completely agree with you. And Divine and Rod, you're a thinking person and respect others' opinions. You are my kind of person. That is why we love Divine and Rod 100%.
Battery acid is bad for you, worse for you than apple juice. You already acknowledge that. That's not about a preference.
As a Christian.
No, it's not as a Christian. This is just a scientific fact.
No, that's.
If I say a thing more than once, it becomes true. if I say a thing, it becomes true. It's true now because I said it more than once.
Presuming the value of the action.
No, it's not. I'm talking about physical health, and you already acknowledged.
Hey, Christ brings a sword. Did Israel return after 2,000 years as predicted in the Bible?
That drinking battery acid is worse than drinking apple juice for your physical health, right?
Yeah.
That is a fact. That is an objective fact about human beings.
Wait, is Nick leaving? If you're leaving, Nick, thank you so much for stopping by, and hope to see you again on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. A prophecy. Maybe I really am Jesus. If I have prophecies that can come true, and I guarantee you that at Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, I will be here. So, I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I am the second coming of common sense.
Generally.
Presuming that physical health is good.
Right. Okay, I don't know why you keep trying to avoid this, because I'm in agreement with that. I said that, and I got you to agree. There's nothing that requires us to care about physical health.
And there it is, that Christian love. Oh, Jesus would totally act like this, right? Get the... Try not to curse because of the algorithm. You are pathetic. You are sad. I know you're angry, and it's okay. I understand. Your ideology of how you look at the world does not make sense, and that makes you angry because other people like me are here to point it out, and you want to cry and yell and scream to make it make sense because you are too scared to approach the reality of your universe. Projection! Ron said, yeah, destruction is near for everybody. Considering we all die at some point, most likely within 100 years on a 14 billion years time scale.
Health, but
we should.
But no, if you and I both care about physical health, then we can discover objective truths about physical health that are non-subjective. It's not a matter of opinion about whether or not you will be healthier if you drink battery acid than if you drink apple juice.
If the foundation is subjective, the answers are subjective.
Wrong. Well,
they said if the answers are subjective, the foundations are subjective. And I don't really completely understand what that means, but clearly Matt does. And he said that is wrong. So
I don't know why this is so difficult, because you and I would agree that whether or not there's a God, there are physical facts about human beings that dictate that drinking battery acid is less conducive to your health than drinking apple juice, generally speaking. That is a fact.
Presuming that.
No, it's not presuming anything. It is a physical fact about the human condition.
So we got one person in the chat trying to just make truth by repeating things, and then we got somebody on screen who say they are in the alignment ideologically, saying that, well, I don't know if you can really say that drinking apple juice is better than battery acid. Come on.
That health is good, yeah.
Be better.
No, it's not presuming that health is good.
Yeah, but
it's not. No, stop. Stop. It's not. You. I don't know why this is. Let me go back to my chess analogy, because maybe this will clear it up, because now we are over time. I'm going to tie the chess to the health. There is no requirement that we care about winning or not losing the game of chess. But if we agree that you and I agree that we do not want to lose a game of chess, then there are objectively good moves and objectively bad moves with respect to that goal of not losing chess, correct?
Motherfucker, I am asking you for the truth. You will not give it to us. I'm asking you, how do you know the Bible is perfect or real or something I should care about? 5, 6, 7 times I've asked you that. I am asking you for the truth. But you are such a shitty messenger for God and Jesus and whatever the fuck else you think you're doing that you can't even do that. You can't even tell me why the Bible is good. What a great Christian you are. Jesus Christ, it is pathetic.
Yes.
And if you and I agree that we care about a healthy physical human being, there are objective facts about what is conducive towards health and what is not, correct?
Nick on point once again. Christian arrogance, thinking you are God. I'm the one with the name, the Indian Jesus, but you are the one who is blasphemous. Did you though? I don't think you did. What is your message? I'm right because I said things are right. Oh, he wins. Let's clap. You win. I am so proud of you, bro. Oh my God. Oh my God. Let's go one more time. Let's give him another one. Woo! Woo! Christ brings a sword. One. Yay! Get the fuck out of here.
Yes.
Yes. And now the only issue is, do we both agree about not losing the game? Do we both agree about physical health? I think that we probably do. Am I correct?
Where'd the chessboard come from?
We made up the chessboard. Why can you not
It's an
answer?
analogy.
I just hand walked you down a
thought
rose.
analogy was an argument.
Shut up.
Trying to win the argument instead of just having the conversation. That was the second time he went to the chess example in this call. And Luke from Arizona is just like Christ brings a sword, so hell-bent on just saying that he's right, that he's not even having a conversation. He's just so arrogantly preaching as if he knows the entire universe. And it's cute that you think that. It's adorable. I remember when I thought that. But we all got to grow up sometime. And your time will come.
I just hand walked
Oh, drink. We got a second one.
you down a rose garden path to show the distinction between we subjectively care about not losing the game, and once we agree on that, there are objective facts. We subjectively care about human health.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to make this into a short. This is Christian. No. Take two. This is Christian grace. Or is it arrogance? You tell me.
And after we agree
That's going to be a great short.
on that there are certain facts. And yet, as soon as your brain realizes where this is going, you go to something batshit like, where did the chessboard come from? That's irrelevant. That's the whole point. Chess can be completely...
That's your analogy.
Goodbye. That's the whole point. We can make up a game. We can invent a chessboard. We can invent the pieces.
Yo! Oh my God! And thus I declared your role in this life shall be to troll and be miserable, God said to Christ brings a sword. Well, if that is your purpose and mission from God, again, you win. You win, friend.
We can make all the rules about the game. It can be completely arbitrary, completely subjective. We've created a game. But once we agree that we don't want to lose that game,
once we agree on the rules and we determine that we don't want to lose that game,
now we can begin to assess things. That analogy is there because it's pretty simple.
What's a birdie on?
And my caller completely understood it so well that once it was tied from the chess game to physical health, which he also had to acknowledge, he had to keep going back to, why do we care about health? Why? No, it doesn't matter. If we both agree that we care about health, if we both agree.
Oh my God. That is so fucking sad. I'm not even going to make fun of you anymore. Oh man. This is your life's mission. I'm not going to block you because that hurts my heart. It sounds like you just need somebody to pay attention to you. And maybe you need a friend. You'd think your church would provide that, but clearly, as you've demonstrated, Christians are not that nice. But you know what? Even though that you're a piece of shit, you know, you can hang out here. It's totally fine. I don't hate you. I don't, so hope you're having fun. Mike says, I thought like Christian brings a sword, but I did a better job. Facts. He definitely needs a hug. Yep. Yeah, you can hate us if you want, but I agree with Nick. The two atheists here are the ones being a way more Christian than the one who has Christ in his name.
Agree that we care about the chess game. There are objective facts to discover.
Let's make another short. So here we have an atheist. Here we have a Christian. Beautiful. Thank you guys. The clips from this week is going to be amazing.
The same thing is true if you and I agree about we would like to have a better world. Now, does that mean we know everything about what a better world looks like? No.
Oh, you're just telling me the truth. Are you
But we don't know everything about what health looks like. Does that mean that because there's variations between human beings, that there aren't going to be variations in understanding about what a better world is? Clearly, just in the United States,
I promise you I will not.
Democrats and Republicans often disagree on what a better world looks like, and yet they both think they want to get to a better world. And the solution for that is to talk to people and say, okay, what about your view leads to a better world? And when you can find out that somebody's internal model of a better world is actually in conflict, that the thing that they think would make the world better, like if we all had more money, if you can show that there's a problem where all of us having more money actually doesn't lead to what they think is a better world, now you've shown a problem with their definition of better. And we've learned something. Now we've learned we can adjust what our definition of better is. Just in the same way that, hey, I'd like to not lose this chess game. I think this move is better. We can analyze that move.
So what I want you guys to notice here is the exact same victim mentality of oppression. Oh, I'm being banned, and I'm just telling the truth, and you don't like it. You know what that sounds like to me? A leftist. You just don't understand it. You're transphobic, and you're this. It's the same shit, guys. This is what dogmatic thinking gets you. Don't end up like this. Do better. I know you can.
And chess isn't solved, which is why we keep playing it. And we can say, no, actually that move that we thought was really good, turns out there's a response to that and it leads to this. And so somebody can think that their view is better, or they think that their view leads to a better world, and they can be wrong. And this is why there's a difference between subjective morality, which is whatever's right or wrong is just defined by our society. And instead,
I feel bad for this kid. No, that's fine. You can, hey, look, if this is what you need in your life, I'm here, bro. I'm here. You can be part of this community and talk all the shit you want. You're not going to get banned. You're not going to get, I don't care enough about you to ban you. Clearly, I'm still engaging with you. We can all be at this party together. I mean, this is your first time here, so I'm giving you a little bit more attention, but I'm not going to continue to stop the shows for you. But I don't hate you. I'm not looking to ban you. So if that's what you're looking for, then you're in the wrong place. If you're looking for somewhere that you can go and people will listen to your ideas, even if they don't like them, then you're in the right place. It's that simple. So if you're trying to get banned, then you've already failed because you came to the wrong channel.
Ed saying a subjective foundation of well-being leads to us exploring and discovering the facts about the universe. And we can be wrong.
Bro, if this is no freedoms, that is the best troll ever. Let me know. Christ brings a story. If you're no freedoms, that is the best troll ever. But no, no freedoms is smarter than that.
About what our view of a better world is. But if we truly have a view of a better world in place, then we are now able to correct our misunderstandings about that. So when you call in and say, why aren't you a nihilist? And I say, I am. And I give two distinct definitions of nihilism to show that I am, but I'm not a fatalist. I don't think that there's pointlessness. That I don't need the universe to have a meaning and purpose for.
He's thanking me for doing something, and God's going to reward you for it. Okay, bro.
My life to have a meaning and purpose. I don't need the universe to have some.
We got that. That person was exactly like Sword here. So this one is so this is one I was going to start with this one. But I wanted to get into it a little bit. This one is from an atheist. So it's not only believers that call in. There's atheists that will call in, and this one is God doesn't exist. No one will ever call in with evidence. How do you think that these two are going to react to that? The two atheists who are here And what do you think? Hey, we got Trey in the building. What is good? What is good? Welcome, brother. It says sword is a terrible example of a Christian. The Bible says, love thy neighbor and enemy, for no man can cast judge on me on the next or on the next. Do better as a Christian. Hey, Dr. Evil Genius in the building. What is good? What is good? Huge friend of the channel. Welcome, brother. Welcome. Says the seeking of rewards guarantees that you will not get the rewards you seek. If you read the Bible, you'd know that. Welcome, brother. Please feel free to drop your channel. Definitely go check out Dr. Evil Genius's personal channel, as well as his Talkin' SHIT podcast that, now with the YouTube guidelines, I don't really want to change that up. But either way, it is great content. Always putting out great stuff. Thank you for being here, brother. Surely God will. Yeah, exactly. Right. Why? He's like, thank you for doing this. God will reward me for it. Okay. If that's what you think. So yeah, this was the God doesn't exist. This is a call from an atheist to two other atheists. Let's see where it goes.
PA, who seems to think that the entire show is a waste of time because he wants to know if we really think someone is going to call with proof of God, because they're not. Is that right, Glenn?
That is correct.
How do you know they're not?
Because there is no such thing as God.
How do you know that? Wouldn't you have to be God to have sufficient knowledge to know that there isn't God and that there's no possibility that someone could present evidence?
Absolutely not. All you have to do is compare God, which would have to be the most complex being. Any conscious God is not nearly as likely as...
Why does God have to be the most complex being?
Any conscious being that you would call God would not be possible compared to simple life forms, single cell creatures. You're looking at Genesis versus abiogenesis. And anyone who, let me just ask the question. Do you really honestly think somebody is going to call in with proof of God?
Yes, I think people are going to call in almost every week with what they think is proof of God. And then it's our job to find out.
I didn't say that. I didn't say
what he's asking. Are they going to have the proof? I don't think that they will. I don't.
Me neither. But I don't know that. But Glenn here seems to know for a fact. We're talking about agnosticism and Gnosticism, knowing versus believing. This person calling in is a Gnostic atheist. They think that they know for a fact that no God exists. But how could you know that?
Yes, I don't either. However, to suggest that it's impossible is to no longer be a skeptic. It is to have reached a conclusion and to be closed-minded.
Right. You have to walk into this with, I don't know, but let's find out.
No. It's absolutely fucking true, which I will get to in just a second.
Mm-hmm.
But the purpose of the show is not to sit here and wait every week for the proof of God that none of us think is coming. It's to educate people on why the proofs they think are correct are not. However, yes, as a matter of fact, if you assert that such evidence is impossible, you have abandoned skepticism and made a claim that you cannot demonstrate.
That's simple. That is why I am not out here saying, well, it is completely stupid to believe in God. How could you believe in that? That can't possibly be. What you guys, those of you who've been here for a while, I got to check which arm it is. You know, my life motto, believe nothing except that anything is possible. If anybody can allow me to verify the things that you claim, well, then I would believe it. And in fact, I wouldn't have to believe it. I would know it. But you can't do that. So, hey, we got Lee in the building. What is good? What is good? Welcome to the party, says to quote the good Dr. JBP, a.k.a. Dr. Jordan B. I don't know what his middle name is. Jordan B. Peterson. Who cares? Let me try and do it. Who cares what you believe? What is Socrates or something? What are you, Socrates or something? Maybe not my best impression, but good quote. Glad you're here, Lee. Glad you are.
There are plenty of things that you should not be skeptical about to a certain point.
No,
Skepticism
sir.
is
No,
fine
sir.
up
False.
until a certain point.
No,
Okay.
sir. There is
Are you
nothing
skeptical?
that you shouldn't be skeptical
Are you skeptical?
about.
All right. This is, you guys know I have a pet peeve of when people talk over each other, especially when one person owns the platform. If you're calling into a show and then the person whose show it is starts talking, then shut the F up. Dietrich says, you have no idea where I'm going, but if you want to meet up, I'll show you what hell is. Uh-oh, let's keep it. I'm with you, but hey, you're no better than him if we start talking about violence. You're no better than him if you start talking about violence. Come on, we're better than that. You have free will. Free will doesn't exist, nor does it make any sense. So wrong.
About flat.
You don't understand what skepticism is.
Are you skeptical?
That's what's no.
That there's a flat Earth.
Yes, because do you know what
you are
skepticism?
skeptical of that?
Yes, Glenn.
Skepticism is about asking questions, and I have asked the question.
Yeah, instead of sitting here pretending that you know what skepticism is, why don't you listen to the fucking skeptics telling you? Skepticism is, I want to believe as many true things and as few false things as possible. It is, I want my internal model to match reality as best I can. And all of this is done with the recognition that absolute certainty is apparently unattainable. And so I should proportion my confidence level to things. So am I skeptical about the shape of the earth? You bet. Does that mean that I'm not convinced that it's an oblate spheroid? No, I'm completely convinced it's an oblate spheroid because as a result of skepticism, I analyzed information and reached the conclusion that is best supported by the evidence. That's what skepticism is.
Give that a try.
However, if someone were to demonstrate new evidence that undermined it in the same way that they did when they showed that the earth is not the same.
Oh, we got a drink. Wait, let me. Oh. Drink. Cheers, everybody. Sword repeated himself. Cheers. All right. Thank you, brother. I was getting thirsty.
Center of the universe, and that the sun doesn't go around the earth. Once upon a time, we thought the sun went around the earth, and all of the evidence pointed to that. And then we learned where that evidence went wrong. You are the person sitting back in antiquity saying, nobody's ever going to prove that the earth orbits the sun. That's just impossible. You're closed-minded, non-skeptical, and you're wrong.
Got him. And so, how many of you are? How many of you expected this conversation to go this way? How many of you expected them to want to just be like, "Oh yeah, finally, we got somebody who's got it figured out"? That's not what atheism is about. That's just not what it is. And I know a lot of people have their ideas of what it is, and you know, I mean, I can only do what I can do. But that's not what it is. It's just that simple. We got that one. We got the drink. Yep. Stitchless says, I've eaten the bugs. I'm not destructed yet. Whoa, am I supernatural? Maybe. Maybe you're Jesus. Maybe you're God. Damn it. That was supposed to, come on.
That's fine, but you really think that somebody's going to call. You actually think there's a possibility.
This is the mental gymnastics. No, they already stated that they don't think anybody's going to call in. They already stated that. But the point is that they don't know. Knowledge and belief are two different things. Yeah.
That's fine, but you really think that somebody's going to call. You actually think there's a possibility. Somebody's going to call, get their Nobel Prize, get their $1 million. That's really going to happen.
No. I don't know whether or not it's likely, which we've already explained to you 2 or 3 times, which means you didn't listen to the fucking thing I said.
Please.
I absolutely heard every word that you said. I just totally disagree with you. And skepticism is fine to a point, but there comes to a point where it's not necessary anymore. It's actually unproductive.
What?
Skeptical about facts. It's not productive to be skeptical that the earth is not
Glenn,
flat.
you monumental
not right.
person, please explain to me, at what point should I stop being skeptical?
At the point where you realize what reality is, that there's no need to be skeptical about actual facts.
How do you know what reality is?
This is what dogmatic thinking gets you. It doesn't matter if you're dogmatic about your belief in God or your belief that God could never exist or that the government is right about everything or that a fetus is a clump of cells. If you think dogmatically, you will always end up looking stupid. 100% of the time. Unless you find yourself in an echo chamber and, that's it's cool. D-Trix, I'm right there with you, but I could definitely handle it. And I appreciate you having, my back, but we want to keep it kosher. Keep it kosher. Pun intended. When you eat the bugs.
Based on life, everything you experience and you can understand based on logic, science.
I think you might be too late on that one. Talk about prophecies.
Common sense.
Yeah, based on life.
Everything. Absolutely.
No,
people understand that.
What you're essentially doing is saying that your experience of the universe is necessarily truth and inviolate. And that's demonstrably false. This
just like sword.
is the reason why skepticism is
And
still
you're saying that nothing can be true. That's wrong.
not that is not
Nobody ever said that.
That's not remotely what the fuck I said at all, which shows you didn't listen to me. But you keep thinking that you know more about skepticism because I fully acknowledged what can be true.
Could be.
Okay.
And I have to call out the straw man there because nobody ever said that we don't think anything can be true. Nobody said that. So attacking that is misrepresenting an idea and attacking that instead of what we're saying.
That is monumental bullshit.
So it's not about playing on a team. It's not about being on the atheist side or being on the religious side. To most atheists. Clearly, to a lot of Christians, it is about your team. But most of us are really just interested in the truth, in what is really going on. So that as I continue to make decisions about how to live my life, I want to make sure that I am basing those decisions on the accurate things of how the universe works. Mike says, some atheists do you hold is that a question to him? I don't know what that means. Question. If one says to enjoy this life and make the most of it, and the other tells you to live your life as gloomy and afraid as possible, who of them is good and who of them is evil? That's a great question. That's a great question. I know I'm the truth. I know I'm the truth. I can't handle myself. It's just too much. I'm just too much truth, man. I know. You're right. You're right.
Okay, that's your opinion. In my opinion, nobody's ever going to call
in. That's the fact. It is bullshit. How is this? How is it? Oh, that's just like your opinion, dude. Cool. It's just your opinion. No, literally nobody here said we can't get to truth. So when you accuse us of saying we can't get to truth, you are demonstrably wrong. That is in fact bullshit. It's no longer a matter of opinion. It's like he's
This is what dogmatic thinking gets you. Saying stupid shit on the internet, thinking that you know what you're talking about, when clearly everybody, all of you watching this right now, know how dumb this person is. I'm trying, but
I mean, it's an easy straw man for skepticism. It's all it is. That's not what we're saying. So all I'm going to say is I have no obligation to defend words that someone else put in my mouth. If I didn't say it, I'm not defending it. If I don't hold to it, I'm not defending it. That's where I'm at.
There you go.
I mean, I realize that I'm certainly more on edge today than other days, and I will completely blame it on the fact that I'm in the end stages of nicotine withdrawal. But it's so frustrating to explain something and then have somebody come back and say, "Oh, well, what you're saying is that there can't be truth." When I literally said,
okay, so we see the point of this one. We got two more that I picked out, and I didn't know how long this would take us, so that probably right about the perfect time. And then of course we have to have a discussion about this on the panel. So if you are not familiar, even Christ with a sword is welcome in the Discord server where the party rages on 24/7. We are always active. and the link is in the description. It is free to join, and right after this show, we will be over there to have an open panel where we don't have to worry about anything like YouTube censors or anything like that. You can say whatever the hell you like. Please come and join the conversation. So this one is another one from an atheist, but it comes from a little bit more of a softer side. And I think it is important that you guys, again, hear how these people who are atheists think.
We've got Mallory in Oregon. You're on with Phil and Matt.
Hi.
Thanks for your patience.
How are you guys today? It's all good. It's an honor to talk to you guys.
Right.
Wait.
I mean, you've been on hold for almost 2 hours, so I figured it'd be rude not to just let you dig right in. It says here that you, after becoming an atheist, you couldn't find anything that you like and anything that you're passionate about. So tell us.
So remember how I was talking earlier about the comfort that is given by the belief in God, religion, so on and so forth. That is a safety blanket. That is something that you can wrap around, and anything that happens in your life, you can just pretend that it's all going to be okay because this is all part of God's plan, and God wouldn't let anything happen to me. So this must just be a tribulation that I have to prove myself. Okay. So she's saying she lost her passion.
So what's going
on? Do you mind if I give you a quick bullet point?
Absolutely. Or, I mean, I don't mind. Go ahead.
So, alrighty. So, bullet point with my faith story. I grew up United Methodist, which is another reason I was excited you were on today.
Yeah.
I was super heavily involved. I was like the voted in youth president. I wanted to be a pastor. I'd get angry when my family wasn't as serious as me, even like my parents. I got older, almost became Jehovah's Witness, but then became Mormon, got endowed, learned all the secret handshakes, wore the underwear, got married in the temple, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Then I almost went Messianic Jew, whole lot of other stuff later, ended up atheist. I used to do hours and hours of biblical religious study every day. I was known for it like throughout the area. It was decently impressive.
So I would just question to those of you in the chat, nobody in particular, but anybody who is a little bit more spicy tonight. Have you done that? Have you done as much work as this lady has just rattled off? Probably not, right? But yeah, I thought you only trust the word of God, but the Bible was written by men. So, whoops. I wonder why. I wonder why they would hang up on you. I can't put my finger on it. There must a reason. I don't know.
People knew me as the Old Testament scholar. I sacrificed pieces of my education in college, and now I just really don't know. And it recently cost me probably the best relationship I've ever had because I don't know big questions anymore. Like, do I want children because I actually want them, or has religion just convinced me that I want kids through my wife and all that kind of stuff? And so I've been struggling the last couple of years because I can't find anything that grasps my interest and that I can get really passionate about.
Struggling for years because of the magnitude of that safety blanket that you get with religion. Once that's taken away, it is so difficult to find anything that is that powerful. I mean, there's stuff out there that, you know, you can combine them together. You know, the love of a good woman or whatever you're into, doing work that you really care about, building a community like what we're doing here. That is the kind of stuff that atheists can be passionate about. But we don't have the privilege. Yes, it is a privilege to believe in fairy tales that make us feel good. And when we lay our head down at night, that we think that somebody's watching and making sure that nobody's going to do anything bad to me. You don't get that anymore. And that's what this woman's talking about.
At any point of the same intensity. And so I was hoping you guys maybe had some good advice or thoughts or
I agree with you on that one.
Something to kind of find how to reignite passion, I guess, outside of the Jesus magic.
Well, one of the things that popped into my head is there is a group called Recovering from Religion that specializes in talking to people that have left a variety of religions, and they might have some insight. But one of the things I've done in my life when I find that I get bored or I just don't know what to do, I kind of find something that I never thought I would do and just go do it. So, like, if you've never been line
I've
dancing,
been trying that.
go,
I just
yeah. And of course, it's hard with the
found
shutdown.
anything.
So this is the level. This is the level of a gap that religious belief creates in your life. She's like, well, I tried line dancing. I don't know what else to do. Oh my God. And I'm being facetious, obviously. And I'm not making fun of her. I'm just saying it's that much of a mindfuck that there's so many people that are just lost. Now, in my opinion, all Christians are lost. Not all Christians, but many Christians, especially the ones like Seabass. I like that you guys did that. I'm definitely stealing that. Thank you. But you have no idea the privilege that you have by simply negating the truth and sticking in your echo chamber and demanding that you are right without engaging with what you're actually talking about. And I want to keep, I kept this up because, again, Nick is an atheist just like me. Look at the things that you are saying. Look at the things that Nick and I are saying, among other people, but specifically me and Nick as atheists. Who do you think? Genuinely, this is a real question. I know you're not going to answer it because you know the answer and it's not going to go in your favor. But out of the three of us, who do you think? Because apparently you believe Jesus is watching. Who do you think he is the most upset with in this stream? It's certainly not me and Nick. It's certainly not Seditionalist. It's certainly not Divining Rod. It's certainly not Dan. It's you. You are the worst person here. You are the worst person here. I know Jesus very well. I spent 20 years in the Catholic Church. I spent the next 15 years trying to find a closer way to God. And that failed. And do you know why? It's because I stopped just swallowing whole the Jesus dick that church was shoving in my mouth. And I actually engaged with ideas. I actually thought about things. I actually asked questions. You should try it sometime.
Yeah, it's kind of hard with the shutdown.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Wrong.
I mean, if you like animals, go to a shelter and pet some cats for a while. That's always really cool.
That's three. You want to add a fourth? 4 incorrect statements in a row?
Just try.
5 is a drink. Let's do that. If he repeats himself or says 5 stupid things in a row, we gonna drink. So he's at 4.
Something different. Volunteer somewhere. Hand out soup. If you don't like that, try handing out clothes. I don't know. Try to find random videos on YouTube. What's that, Matt?
I kind of want to attack this from a completely different angle.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I don't necessarily know what people mean when they say, oh, I'm passionate about this, but I'm not passionate about that. Or I'm not passionate about anything. I have a number of things that I'm probably passionate about, but I also understand that not just religion, we as a society have given people a false bill of goods and a false expectation on a number of things. We've taught people that they should have one partner who fills all their needs, which is...
Oh, everybody drink. Everybody drink. We got one. Well, okay. No, he broke it up. God damn it. Good job on breaking that up because we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stupid things and 5 untrue things in a row. But yes, I did follow a false religion by believing in God. But you know what? Why not? Cheers. Okay. All right. Good. We got 1. We got 2. We got 3 in a row. 2 more. Let's go. Come on, bro. 2.
Obviously bullshit for the overwhelming majority of people. Even if you do serial monogamy, like I was married for a while and now we've moved on to other things and we're both better off for it. The notion that 2 people, and by the way, I'm not talking about my marriage. We went into it knowing one person shouldn't be expected this. We do the same thing with regard to education, that you need to go.
Oh, there it this again. I don't have a religion, so that doesn't make any sense. Drink. Oh man, like I didn't know somebody could be so dumb.
Go to college and get a 4-year degree. When the truth is, not as many people need to do that for what they want it to do as are suggested for it. We try to. I remember as a kid, there were kids around me who seemed to have to know exactly what they wanted to do with their life, and they knew exactly what the path was, and I didn't know at all. I had no direction, no ambition. There were things that I liked and I had interest in, and I would study them, and basically I just had I was like an obsessive learner, but not like one thing I was focused on. I think it may be a false narrative that there needs to be something, some individual thing that you're passionate about or more passionate about than anything else.
Completely agree. What did I just say? That there's a myriad of things that you need to fill that hole, that God-sized hole that was drilled into your heart before you were able to have any choice in the matter. It was drilled into your heart. Giant hole. But for a while, it was filled with a bunch of stuffing and bullshit. That's only going to last so long. When you finally realize that's what's going on, you pull all that bullshit out, and you still have a giant hole in your heart.
I think that's propping up a false narrative when it may just be okay to be interested in this for a while, and then interested in this for a while, and then interested. The only thing that I think we should agree I should always be caring about is me.
That's a good point, Mike. That definitely is a possibility. But I mean, yeah, it's definitely a possibility, but there's enough people that it's strictly religion that has messed them up. But you are correct. You are correct. That is a possibility. At least as in my opinion, the concept of God is more abstract than the concept of belief. Of course. So you say you do or don't believe in God is a meaningless statement. I agree with you only because of the word God. God is a meaningless word. Again, go to church, think of what you define God in your mind. Turn to the person to this side, ask them what they define God. It's going to be something different than what you had. Then turn to the other side, ask them what they think God is. You're going to get a third answer. You're going to get a third answer. And you can go on and on and on and on and on. Belief is just the acceptance of a claim. That is a very, I mean, what's the opposite of abstract? That's the opposite of abstract. The concept of belief is very straightforward, accepting a claim. The concept of God is so abstract that that's the whole point. Nobody believes the same thing. They just use the same word. They just use the same word as the people who blow themselves up in schools. So do with that what you will. Ryan said, I'll bring meaning to her life. I'm starving, have a huge pile of laundry mile high. There you go.
That makes sense.
I mean, there's people who will just go, look at Matt. He only cares about, no. I said, the only thing that I should care about all the time is me. I should care about all kinds of things. I should care about the people in the atheist community of Austin. I should care about the people who are sponsoring these shows. And I should care about the people that are calling in. I should care about the people that, my family and friends that I love and everything. I should care about Black Lives Matter. I should care about police violence.
Again, friend, I am going to be here at 8 p.m. Eastern on Monday. So when I show up, is that a prophecy? Or is that just me doing a thing that I said I was going to do?
I should care about all of these things because they're all valuable and they're all part of the human experience that I'm a part of. I'm just saying the only thing that, you can care about, you can focus on one thing one day, but not everybody has to I'm going to do cancer research and specifically breast cancer research and only breast cancer research for the rest of my life. Raw.
So Lee, I'm going to disagree with you here. There are tremendous values in religion. I believe religion is an overall net negative, but it does have good values. The reason that religion is a net negative is because it hogs those values. It hogs those values. As the Dennis Prager quote earlier, that you cannot be moral without a belief in God. Okay, well, if I've tried and I can't, and I just can't get my brain to accept that claim, then why should I be moral at all? We absolutely should be celebrating the loss of incorrect thinking based on the wrong things. Faith, inherently, what that means is belief without evidence, or without proper evidence. If you had the proper evidence, you wouldn't believe, you would know. No, it's not, dude. No, it's not. So you're saying if I write a book, or if I write a thing, if I say this thing is going to happen, internet's forever, right? I'm going to tweet, this thing is going to happen. And then in 3,000 years, somebody reads my tweet and then does the thing. Does that make my tweet a prophecy? Obviously not. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're just saying things. You're just repeating the bullshit that has been guac down your throat. It's sad.
Not every mind works that way. Some people are better off with a more shotgun style approach.
That makes sense. I guess I've always considered, since I was so incredibly passionate about religion and studying the scriptures and analyzing it and going into all of that, I could like put 100% in at any point, always. And I just haven't found anything else like that. So maybe it's just, I don't even need that, I guess.
You can keep your passion for religion. Like I had a passion for religious understanding and stuff. I'm putting it to use.
Exactly. I still have a passion for religion. That is exactly why I'm doing this. That is exactly why I named my channel The Indian Jesus, because I still have a passion for religion. I still have a passion for truth, which is what religion was presented as. Now, my passion for religion is killing it and allowing the good parts to escape to everybody else. That is my mission.
Very true. Very true. I do run a support group for people who are leading and questioning Mormonism in the area.
Nice. There you go.
Some things like that. I haven't found anything in my life that I'm so excited about to like wake up and do anymore. And
you never, ever, 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 ever will. That is how damaging that religion is.
It's been really hard.
Well, all of Phil's suggestions are good. My kind of diversionary thing may be relevant, but also look for communities that you can interact with, recovering from religion, other things that are in that realm, so that you don't necessarily have to have it all figured out today.
That makes sense. Well, I really appreciate your guys' thoughts and chatting with me. Like I said, it's an honor to.
All right. So last one here. I wasn't sure if we were going to get to this one, so I just threw it up here. I didn't know exactly what it is, so we're going to react to it live together. The title here is There's Some Kind of God, and Matt Should Stop Cursing, from A Radical.
I've been waiting forever. A Radical?
There we go. Line 4. A Radical, you're on with Matt and Dragnaut.
Hi, Matt and hi, Dragnaut.
Hi.
Did I say that last name right?
Yeah. So normally they ask whether or not someone's a theist or a non-theist, and you're listed as neither.
Right.
That's not possible.
Yeah. Are you A or B? Those are the only options. Neither. This call is going to go well.
So I'm gonna short circuit this right off the bat. Are you actually convinced that any God, is real?
I do believe that there's a mind behind reality, yes.
So you're convinced that there is some God thing?
Yes, and if given the chance, I'd like to prove that to you.
Then you're a theist. I don't know why you would say neither, but okay, go ahead.
Okay.
I agree with you, Lee. I had religion in my youth, and it wasn't until I got old enough to actually question it that it became a problem. But before that, as I said, it was a huge security blanket. Everything everything wrong that was in my life, even being wanting self-deletion ideation at 11 years old, I turned to God, and I guess that idea helped me through. But I mean, ain't nothing wrong with that.
To me, this is a fair conversation. I just want to point out a couple things. Being that this is a type of mini debate, and you are on the side of being an atheist, that there is no God, or that there is no evidence that there's a God.
I'm not convinced there's a God.
Right.
Again, just so everybody knows, that is the entirety of what is contained in the word atheism. That is the entirety of what it requires to be an atheist. I am not convinced of that claim. That is it.
You are going to be entrenched in the position that there is no God. That
No.
you have, that you're.
I just said I'm not convinced there is a God. That is not the same as I am convinced there is no God.
Okay, so you're saying that you are open to evidence that would change your mind on that?
Yes.
I am. Are you?
Yes, I am. I hope my
We are
claim
both
provisionally.
I said shit. Me too.
To being convinced of their God. So what you would need to do is define the God and then provide the evidence for that God.
Okay. In terms of there being a God, I would say that God is an entity that is conscious and deliberately created the cosmos and everything within it.
Okay.
That is my definition for God.
Are there any other characteristics other than a conscious creator of the cosmos?
No, I don't.
Okay, cool. What evidence can you provide that supports the conclusion that there's a conscious creator of the cosmos? Which I love the alliteration on, so cool.
Okay.
I want to ask you guys a question. Why do you think that I am not worried about doing shows like this? Because I mean, you, those of you, I mean, you know, new guys, whatever. I'm just some random person. But those of you who are, you know, watch regularly know that I don't have a dog in any fight except truth, rationality, and so on and so forth. Why do you think I don't have an issue, or I'm not scared to do a show like this? What do you think? Why do you think I'm not scared? I would love to hear answers to that.
In terms of there being empirical evidence, not all truths are empirical in reality. Would you agree to that?
Not all truths are empirical. My instinct is to say no, but I'm sure there's some type of truth in the sense that, like, if you say I love my wife, that's, I guess, a truth that isn't empirical. But unless we're talking about those types of emotional, subjective truths, I don't really see how that's relevant. So I'm going to go ahead and say no, they're not all empirically based. But what does that mean?
Hello?
Do you have an example of something that we would accept as true that you can't provide empirical evidence for?
Loving your wife.
I mean, there are things that are true, but they're sort of esoteric. Like, it's true that this is one of my favorite songs. So it's true that that's the case, but it's not something I can provide empirical evidence for. But it doesn't matter because it's still esoteric. It's still my subjective assessment. So I'm not aware, maybe I'm not thinking of it clearly. Is there an objective truth for which we can't provide empirical evidence?
Right. That's what I'm saying, that there are truths that exist.
What's an example?
That I don't have one right off of my head.
And I can't come up with one either. So, but it seems like what you're doing is saying that there's a conscious creator of the universe, and that this is true, but we're not going to have empirical evidence for it. Is that what you were trying to do?
That is what I'm trying to say.
I don't understand how anyone could be convinced reasonably that there is a conscious creator of the universe without empirical evidence. And when you say that this is the sort of thing that you can't provide empirical evidence for, what kind of evidence can you provide?
Okay, the evidence that I would be providing would be within reason. Philosophical.
That doesn't mean anything.
Within reason.
Of course, we're looking for something that's within reason. I asked for what type of evidence other than empirical are you going to provide?
Well, I guess there would be like syllogisms.
Okay, so syllogisms, again, that's the premise, conclusion. Okay, what's the syllogism? Give us the premises.
Syllogisms are logical arguments, but they are only sound if the premises are accepted as true.
Right.
And so
remember, the initial syllogism that I gave you guys was, I always mix these up. It was valid, but it was not sound. And so what that means is that it makes sense according to the logic, but the premises have to be true in order for an argument to be sound. So the argument that Fido, or all cats have tails, premise 1. Premise 2, Fido has a tail. Conclusion, Fido is a cat. That is valid logic, but it is not sound logic because it is not true.
Depending on what your premises are, you would need to provide empirical evidence for those. Like, what's premise one?
Okay.
What's premise one?
The fact, I'm about to say it.
Okay.
The fact that there are evolutionary adaptive advantages that creatures have.
Okay. First of all, that's not a premise. So if you're going to say syllogism, you ought to know how to construct one. And what you would need.
Sadly, it's frustrating. It's frustrating that so many people use these. I mean, to a radical, it's a buzzword, syllogism. He doesn't know what that means. He knows that that's supposed to be what he has, and so he just says he has it, but he doesn't. Listen to it again.
Creatures have are.
What's premise one?
The fact, I'm about to say it.
Okay.
The fact that there are evolutionary adaptive advantages that creatures have.
Okay. First of all, that's not a premise. So if you're going to say syllogism, you ought to know how to construct one. And what you would need are two premises that lead to a conclusion where your major and minor premises are linked. It's not the fact that there are evolutionary adaptations. But we can continue doing this in a non-structured thing, especially since Drag's here. So we're starting with premise one being that it is a fact that there are evolutionary advantageous evolutionary changes, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's your loose first premise. Keep going.
Okay. Actually, that was like my first thing leading in the evidence.
Okay, but hang on. Would you and I agree it is a fact that there are advantageous evolutionary changes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we're in agreement with that.
Okay. Premise one is that there are changes due to evolution that are good or positive or whatever he's trying to say. That can move us in a positive direction. We all agree on premise one. Okay.
Okay. Would you also agree that we did not will ourselves those evolutionary adaptive advantages?
Yes.
Yes. You can't just imagine yourself producing a stronger.
There's no reason to think that any change in allele frequency over time or any evolutionary change is subject to any will at all.
Okay. Well, the
Be
fact
careful
that
when you say okay to that, because that just short circuits exactly where you're going.
Okay. Well, each creature being perfectly adapted for their particular environment.
No.
No.
Something, and that's an intelligent feature.
I don't think.
This is what we this is what we call the no true Scotsman fallacy. Why is it? Why is it that every single thing a Christian can say can be categorized? Because they only say like 5 different things. And a lot of them use the no true Scotsman fallacy. If you're a real Christian does this. I thought a Christian was somebody who believes that Jesus was the Son of God and can find grace through accepting Jesus in your heart. Is that not what a Christian is? Oh, okay. So you just proved my point that the words that people use in this space, God, spirituality, grace, Christian, even, these words have no meaning. They're just filler words. You just use them for the thing that you're thinking of. But even somebody of your same exact belief has no idea what you're talking about. How is this the most effective way to live? Oh, it's not.
I don't think you heard us, because as soon as you said each creature is perfectly adapted to their environment, both of us immediately said no, because that's not what evolution says. That says nothing about perfect adaptation.
How would you even establish that?
Let's remove the word perfect. Each creature is well adapted to their environment.
You couldn't even make that determination. That depends on the environment. That depends on the time of year. That depends on the organism. That depends on a lot of factors, my man.
And the ones that aren't particularly well adapted to the environment, those are the ones that go extinct, because you seem to be looking at it on a creature by creature basis, but evolution affects populations, not individuals.
Bingo.
Okay. Birds having wings. Is that an evolutionary advantage?
It is both an advantage and a disadvantage. It's all contextual. It depends on the situation. If they're being chased by a predator on the ground and the wings allow them to fly up, then yes, that's an advantage in that situation.
If they're trying to open a jar of peanut butter, well, no. Hands and thumbs would probably be better.
If they're not being chased by a predator on the ground, but they're being chased by a faster predator that's in the air, then it may be a disadvantage. If their wings being hollow fundamentally changes how much they're able to move and how they have to get food, and the weather changes, that can be a disadvantage. You can't look at a trait and say, this is an...
Oh, we got to repeat. We got to repeat. Oh, wait. All right. Cheers. What are we doing?
Advantage. Is intelligence an advantage? In some situations it is, and in some situations it may not be.
Yeah, situations like this, it is not an advantage for me to be leagues smarter than Seabass, because it's just not helping.
That's not. This is fundamentally not how evolution works, and it's a wrong way to look at the situation. Saying here is a trait, this is an advantage.
Okay. Sticking with the bird example for a second. Birds have very good eyesight to spot prey on the ground.
Some birds do, some don't.
Would we say most birds do?
I wouldn't even be able to say that, honestly. I'm not an ornithologist.
Let's just pick a bird, a hawk.
Hey, Nick. I said shit. Me too.
We say hawk.
All right, let's go.
Hawks have better eyesight.
Let's go with the bird of prey.
Hawk, sure.
Birds of prey have good eyesight.
Okay, good is a Weasley term. You can't even necessarily say better for eyesight.
In relation to us.
You still can't say better, because what is better? Do they see farther?
Further than we do.
They can see further than we can do, but do they see as much of a visual spectrum as we do? Are they able to distinguish color greater than we are? So see what I'm saying? You can't just go with eyesight.
Christian love, it's so strong. It's so strong. I just don't understand how it could possibly be that Christianity wouldn't be something that I would want to follow. I'm glad you're here for your own rewards, you selfish piece of shit. I am here to try to help all of you and everybody else. Yikes.
Right.
In terms of vision and distance, birds have a better eyesight.
Can a hawk see farther than me? Yes.
All right. And I'm saying that would be not be to be viewing prey from the ground, but from the sky, which would go back to the wings. But in any case, all right.
Oh, wait. We got another one. Hey.
The second piece of evidence I have is the fact that the reason for death is an intelligent one.
Whoa,
there was overpopulation.
Whoa.
Oh, we got another one. Let's go.
So we're still trying to get to a conscious creator of the cosmos. You just said the reason for death is an intelligent one, and I'm not being obtuse. I don't know what the hell you mean.
Okay, I can explain it for you.
Oh, well, he's going to explain
it. If there is no death, there would be overpopulation of species.
That's not necessarily true.
Your body could just, I don't know, get teleported to a different dimension. I mean, there's all types of stuff that could happen.
You could just stop having sex.
Yeah, we could reach a population cap, and then everyone's genitals would stop working.
Hold on. If there was no death,
you could just have nothing but gay sex, and there would be no overpopulation.
Wouldn't be so bad.
How did we get here?
People would be still having sex.
What I just said, you could have nothing but say homosexual sex, and there would be no overpopulation.
But we would.
Yeah, but
we have heterosexual.
Sorry.
Why are we?
Bad joke. Keep going.
Nah. I drink when I want to drink. Bitch.
Wow. Okay. I'm sorry. Is this like a serious program, or are you just like interrupting me every 5 seconds?
If you would say so, we're interrupting you to clarify all the ways you are thinking about this in the wrong way.
Right. No, and I'm trying to speak, and you're like cutting me off before I even get to say what my thing is.
You said something that needed clarification or correction, so we did that.
Okay. If I'm saying that if there was no death, there would.
Okay. So I wasn't really following him that well either. So let's start. He's restating. If there is no death, that is where we are getting started.
Be overpopulation of species.
Nope. I do what I want. Not what a random loser on the internet says. Thank you.
And we say, no, that's not true.
Heterosexual pop. How can it not be true if there would still be reproduction?
I just explained to you that you could have no death and everybody could be having gay sex, and now there's not overpopulation.
Or you could also have no death and everyone still be having heterosexual sex.
Yes.
And there's still be and that would be an overpopulation.
You are absolutely correct. My objection was that you said your statement suggested that there would necessarily be overpopulation, and I was pointing out that that's not necessarily true. In the same way that when you talk about eyesight, you say your implication is that this is necessarily better when it's actually contextual. It is actually based on the situation. You are making broad-based generalizations when you need to be more precise. How on earth are we getting to, therefore, there is a conscious creator of the cosmos?
Well, I'm trying to get to that.
You're failing to get to that. You've made
that's because you're helping me fail to it.
Yes, I'm helping.
You're helping me fail. You're helping me fail. I'm so bad that I need your help to fail. Why is it that people with names like A Radical, Assassin of Atheists, Christ brings a sword, like, keep LARPing, keep LARPing.
Helping you fail. I'm pointing out where you're failing. You have made mistake after mistake after mistake. Not one of your premises, as loose as they are, has been sound. And so if you can't come up with a sound premise, then you have no argument.
Sir, I am trying to make an argument. You keep interrupting it.
You are trying to make an argument, and you are failing because every point of your argument is flawed. You can't add up a whole bunch of flaws and get to, therefore, there's a conscious creator of the cosmos.
Oh, no! CMOS is getting judged! Oh, no!
Cosmos.
If everything was, all other considerations were the same, and there was no death, if everything else in life was still playing out in life the way that it does, and there was no death, there would be overpopulation.
And what is his point? Yes, if people didn't die, there'd be too many people. What the fuck is your point, bro?
We agree to that.
No.
How would that be wrong?
Because...
Oh my God. For the third time, if everybody's just fucking dudes, then there's not going to be any more people, and it's not going to be overpopulation. What is your point?
We may advance enough to move off of this planet and go populate elsewhere and keep spreading.
There you go.
I just said if everything else stayed the same as it was now.
Okay,
we aren't on the planet.
Why?
So if everything was the way that I wanted it to be, it would be the thing that I'm saying. Okay.
Would I accept your ridiculous hypothetical that nothing would change?
Why is it ridiculous? Because you say it's ridiculous?
Yes, it's ridiculous because I say it's ridiculous.
I said, shit, me too.
You're not the judge and jury of intelligence.
I'm the judge and jury of what I find ridiculous. You bet I am. And when I explain it to you...
That's subjective, is it not? Is it not subjective?
Yes, it is. And when I explain to you why it's ridiculous, then we all get to determine whether or not you are being reasonable in determining what's ridiculous. Because what you want to do is say, if nothing else changes. When the question here is, you said death is intelligent.
No, I said the reason for death is intelligent.
Right.
The reason for death.
But what is the reason for death? You haven't get. What is the reason for death?
The reason for death is to prevent overpopulation.
No, that's an assumption. That's an assumption on your part. You are reaching a conclusion and not providing any evidence that.
Okay, let's move on.
No, we're not moving on. Let me finish here. You are asserting that death exists specifically to avoid overpopulation, and you would like to say that this is necessarily an intelligent decision. That is not necessarily why death exists. And even if death exists in part or in whole to curb overpopulation, there's no demonstration that this was an intelligent decision. This could be the natural order of when a population gets to a certain size, it can no longer sustain itself, and death is what happens.
Wouldn't that be an intelligent prerequisite?
No.
No.
I'm still...
That is a natural process. That is a natural process.
Like,
you're not a stupid one.
So,
oh my God.
So how I'm still always confused about these intelligence arguments. I've yet to see or experience or know about an intelligence that lacks a substrate.
So are you saying if you don't sin, you don't die?
You get what I'm saying?
Okay, the substrate would be the laws of nature.
So this nebulous concept of intelligence is being attached to another abstraction.
Laws are something would be instructions, not just restrictions.
No, they're descriptions. The laws of nature are descriptive, not prescriptive.
That's an important point that I think a lot of people, yes, that is true. Wait, I gotta admit it. Hold on. Wait. You know that seditionists. Oh my God, it's not coming up yet. Hold on. Where is it? Okay. So all men have sinned except me. And Jesus would never have died. pretty sure that's like the whole reason for Jesus. Right? Why did Jesus exist? If not to die and sacrifice whatever bullshit that, God could have just done whenever way. Hey, we got AIDS afflicted in the building. We got welcome to the party. You came in at a very exciting time. So we are watching a couple of calls from the atheist experience where people will call in, and the question is, what do you believe and why? That gets the conversation going. And now we have people like Christ brings a sword here, claiming that he knows everything about everything, and it's rather entertaining.
They don't descriptive to our subjective view, prescriptive from an objective lens.
Wait, I need to hear that again. What?
Another abstraction.
Laws are something would be instructions, not just restrictions.
No, they're descriptions. The laws of nature are descriptive, not prescriptive. They don't
descriptive to our subjective view, prescriptive from an objective lens.
No. Physics works the way physics works. Chemistry works the way chemistry works. There's not any reason to presume that there's an intelligence giving out instructions about how hydrogen and oxygen should combine.
Is our view the only view that matters?
I'm not sure.
Our human view, our human perspective.
Our perspective has little to do. It's not even remotely germane to the objective state of affairs. What I think about hydrogen and oxygen has no impact on how they bond to one another, just as the laws of logic, as people like to reference. So you can defer to these abstractions all day long, but they're going to be what they are, regardless if we're here or not to perceive them.
Right. And what I'm saying is that there are laws that exist that we observed and articulated, but we did not create.
Yes.
That we are observing.
And
so that would make them
what is your
objective
point?
and us subjective.
Well,
I don't even. Does anybody understand what point he's trying to make? Seabass, you're the resident piece of shit Christian. What is he talking about, and what is he right or wrong about?
For describing them.
There are laws that exist that we did not create. Now prove that some other intelligence did create them. This is where you need to demonstrate that a law is prescriptive and from an intelligence, and not merely descriptive, being recognized by an intelligence.
Okay. The fact that nature and everything in it is set up in a certain particular way.
It's a nice
that everything
presumption.
in it. That's a presumption too?
Yeah. So you're presuming that something set up.
Earth
something.
set up?
Yes, that everything is set up. How do you demonstrate that?
How do I demonstrate that life was performed?
That's not even the same words. That's not even the same words. How? What is? How? I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. It is so easy to just have conversations, listen to the words, and then respond to them. Look at this face. I'm right there with you, bro. I'm right there with you. Hey, we got Chester in the building. What is good? What is good? Welcome, 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 brother. Yep, you are correct, sir. And I mean, I wish that was a bigger accomplishment, but unfortunately, these Christians only have like 3 arguments. But welcome to the party, brother. Glad you are here.
That life is played out incrementally when that's how we viewed everything.
Wait. Yeah, I want to back this up and see what the hell.
That's a presumption too?
Yeah, so you're presuming that something set up.
Earth
something.
set up?
Yes, that everything is set up. How do you demonstrate that?
How do I demonstrate that life was performed?
Same question to Seabass. How do you demonstrate that the Bible is perfect? That was a question from about like hour and a half ago that you have not been able to answer.
That life is played out incrementally when that's how we viewed everything in history.
How have you personally ascertained that an entity fiddled with reality? It stuck its tendrils into our reality and crafted these abstractions.
Same question to Seabass. Here, one more time.
Ascertain
everything in history.
All right. Seabass, this is your opportunity to redeem yourself. All you got to do is answer the question that's being presented.
How have you personally ascertained that an entity fiddled with reality? It stuck its tendrils into our reality and crafted these abstractions.
Okay, then prove it. Yes, prophecy is not prophecy when it's just doing. If you can see the prophecy, it's only a prophecy if it's predicted and unknowingly it comes true. Again, if I say, I'm going to be here Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, it's not a prophecy fulfilled that I come here Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's just me saying a thing and then following through on doing it. If that is the benchmark, then why the fuck don't you believe I'm your fucking savior? We're waiting, brother. We're waiting.
And
The fact that there's an order to everything.
Okay. How?
Okay, now your entire argument is we perceive order, therefore there must have been an intelligence who crafted that order. Please demonstrate that the only way to achieve the order we perceive is if there is an intelligence that crafted it.
What is this?
Because
hold on,
everything that
what was that?
Crafted it.
Look at this shit. All right. So we have the frequency of miracles on this, and then we have as time goes on. So I'm here. Oh, all of these miracles. They were going on a little dip here, but all these. Then the camera was invented. Beep. 0 miracles. Photoshop. Beep. Coincidence? I think not.
Because everything that's accidental does not create intelligence from it. And there's life that came from the chaos of the universe.
This is another assertion of yours. Please demonstrate that intelligence can only come from an intelligence.
So is 14. Whoa, dude, numbers are numbers, bro. Yo, oh my God, that's God. How does everything in the Gospels being divisible by 7 prove or even hint at anything close to what you're trying to prove? And again, I'm sorry, guys. I'm missing the actual shit because
the chaos of the universe.
This is another assertion of yours. Please demonstrate that intelligence can only come from an intelligence.
So the claim is intelligence can't just appear. It has to come from other intelligence. Okay, well then how did that intelligence appear? It came from another intelligence. Okay, how did that intelligence appear? From another intelligence. That is what we call, yes, we do have a name for that as well. It's called the infinite regress.
Intelligence can only come from an intelligence.
So what created the original intelligence?
Nothing created the original intelligence. If it's infinite, it doesn't have a beginning.
Man, it sounds like special pleading to me.
But you still didn't demonstrate that the only way
Hold on, where does science come from? Philosophy, right?
You still haven't demonstrated that an intelligence can only come from an intelligent origin.
Hold on.
No, I asked the question. I asked the question. You called. No, stop, Radical. Stop.
You just asked me to answer the question.
And now I'm telling you to fucking stop. So stop and
listen to me, dude.
I'll fucking curse at whoever the fuck I want. Stay on the line, and I will curse your little bitch ass into oblivion. I'm gonna curse. I'm gonna put you on hold so you can listen to me spew forth fucks and shits and whatever the fuck I want. Stop. You called in.
Seabass, you should really be paying attention to how this person is getting treated, because it's absolutely appropriate. And if you called into the show, it makes 100% sense why not only did you get this type of treatment, but you got blocked.
To argue for a conscious creator of the cosmos. And we asked you to do that. And at every turn, you came up with some sort of loose premise that involves some form of special fucking pleading, or certain fucking exemptions, or bald-ass fucking assertions. And we have sat here, and we've tried to point out, and we've asked questions. And you keep getting irritated that we didn't just accept the garbage that you spewed forth initially.
Yes, because as we've already established, this is so overused and so wrong that it has a name. You did a thing that has a name. As I've said before, it is the no true Scotsman fallacy. So if you are not smart enough to understand that, then you are wasting the viewer's time. I don't want to watch you talking to Matt. You are too dumb to talk to Matt for it to be an entertaining conversation. I would have too. I would have as well.
when all we were doing was trying to guide you towards an actual argument that is cogent and supported by evidence. And every time either one of us have gotten you to amplify what you're saying, you go back to yet another assertion. Well, you can't have intelligence without an intelligence to guide it. You can't have order without an order to guide it. At no point did we say that you were wrong. We asked you to demonstrate that you were correct. So demonstrate that order and intelligence can only come from an intelligence, because that's the whole thing you're trying to do. You are now off hold and free to moan about my cursing.
I just want to have an intelligent conversation, man. I'm actually a big fan of you.
Do you though?
I love what you did to Peterson. Anyway, there's also no random. That's also subjective.
What?
I'm just going down the plethora of oddities and peculiarities and uncomfortable truths that we avoid in life to try to come to the conclusion that there is no God. And I'm not saying that there's a Christian God. I'm just saying that there is something weird going on in life that lends
No,
to...
sir. No, sir. And now you're lying. Now you are backtracking to the point where you are twisting yourself into knots. First of all, atheism is not the assertion that there is no God. So I don't know why you would do that. You're not just talking about weirdness. You affirmed at the beginning of this call that you believe there is a conscious creator of the cosmos and that you could prove it. You didn't call in and say, hey, there's a bunch of weirdness. I don't think we can conclude there is no God, because if you'd have said that, I'd have said, I agree with you. There's a bunch of weirdness, and maybe we can't conclude that there is no God, or at least...
I said that there was no way to prove it empirically. I said it would have to be done through reason. Go back in the tape. That's what...
Yes, I did see that. Do you understand why? Because you're too dumb.
What I said.
Oh, okay. So we got a repeat. We got a repeat. Let's go. Let's go. Everybody drink up. Oh, that is sweet, sweet victory.
Did I say you didn't say that?
You just said that no, sir. You just said that there's not a bunch of things. When I said that it's an amalgamation of evidence, it's not just one thing that can be pointed to.
Just a second ago, you backtracked from your original position, which is that there is a conscious creator of the cosmos, to...
And I'm still on that.
Bye.
So what was the common thread between everybody, both in my chat and that called in, who had religious beliefs? What was the common thread? They didn't think enough about what their arguments were. They didn't present anything new. And they were all wrong. If I was Seabass and I really believed in the Word of God, and I really believed that that would help humanity and that would save people, as Christ would want to do, and what Christ would want you to do, Seabass, that'd be a little different. But, you know, you're going to do you, and all you care about is yourself, which is very liberal of you. Just, you know, put you right with the spoiled leftists, most of whom are atheists, and hard to tell you apart, except for the fact that your bullshit is religious and their bullshit is political. So, it's really sad that you know, you're so desperate. But like I said, man, we're here for you. We're here for you. I know that you don't think that anybody could be a good person without your Sky Daddy, but fact is, you're wrong. No, you only care about yourself. If you cared about God, then you would try to genuinely spread his message. You only care about yourself. You're a selfish POS who postures as a righteous person hiding behind God, like so many other Christians, unlike the Kellys of the world, unlike the Mikes of the world. I don't know who else of you are Christians, but those of you are not in any way like Seabass. And I appreciate that. And I know there are plenty of atheists that are the inverse of Seabass. And I'm not down with that. I can only, exactly. Yep. Changing his words. He's lying. I'm pretty sure, not positively sure, but I think that lying is a sin. Guess you're gonna meet us in hell. All right. It's all right, bro. All right, guys. So this was a very interesting show. You know, I know that even though a lot of you don't necessarily like your personal beliefs being attacked, that's why I find this to be a much better way to have this discussion. And I love having it with you guys. I love being able to explore this, and I hope we can continue this conversation for the panel. So if you're not familiar, like I've said earlier before, but just to tell you once again, the party rages on in the Indian Jesus Discord server. It is free to join for now. It is free to join for now. So if you join before it's not free, it will always be free. You'll be grandfathered in. You'll be in there. Don't have to worry about anything. But once I hit that number, that's already in my head. I already got that number. Then it's going to cost some money. And trust me, people are going to want to pay. So up to you if you want to wait and pay me or just come and hang out. But I would really appreciate that. And speaking of appreciation, I really do appreciate each and every one of you, even CBAS, hanging out with us, being part of the chat, being part of the conversation. It is important to show that, you know, people like CBAS do exist. And it is why people like me have such a strong aversion to the ideology that maybe for you is very innocuous and very positive in your life. And that just, again, goes further to my point that if we can get those things that do make your life better through religion and just extract them from religion and make them American values, we will all be better off. Thank you. I appreciate you, and you know what? Even you. So thank you guys for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the show. You know, again, we maybe once a month we'll do this type of stuff. I don't want to, you know, alienate anybody. I know there's a bunch of people who don't like these shows, and that's perfectly fine. If you don't like these shows, then you know I'll see you on the next one. But thank you, Dan. Thank you, and hope to see you over in Discord. Thank you again for hanging out with me. That is the biggest thing that really, really does matter to me. But in terms of growing the channel, of course, you know, those notifications suck. So if you could do me a favor, take either the URL right there or the share button right there, blaster this all over. Whether you think because I'm right or because you want to laugh at me with all your Christian friends about how dumb I am. Please put it out there. We want this party to be raging. But that I can't do it alone. I'm doing what I can. And Seditionists, thank you so much. And shouts out to every single one of you, 1,007, I think it is now. Shout out to each and every one of you. I really do appreciate it. If you could do me a huge favor, if you haven't already done so, and hit the like button on your way out. And you know, we did hit 1K, but I'm in the process of being monetized. So in the meantime, if you'd like to support the channel, you do not have to. It's completely free. But if you would like to, you can hit up Cash App, Venmo right there. But again, it is completely free to just come to hang out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. It is free to like the video. It is free to share. It is free to comment. All of that stuff is free. Just come hang out, and we'll continue to have a good time. Hey, there we go. Some common ground. Thank you. I appreciate that, brother. And I'm serious. Come over to the Discord. We definitely can have these conversations in a way that you know, I don't have to worry about, you know, my channel getting taken down because it's somebody's trolling or whatever. You know, not saying that you would do that. I just don't know who you are. So come over to Discord. You know, there's nobody watching there. We can talk about you know, whatever we want. The link is right in the description, and that is where we are headed. I appreciate that. Wish I could say the same for you, but hopefully, you know, you come back and we can get even better. I'll get better. You'll get better. Just come on back. We'll do it. Well, I mean, okay. Well, yeah, I'm not going there. But thank you so much, guys. I really, really, really do appreciate you. I hope I will see you over in Discord in 30 seconds. Until next time, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I really hope you enjoyed this party. I have been your host, Lutch, a.k.a. the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, I am out of here. Peace.